Chapter 1581. 1581 Dragon 1581 has a reverse scale 4. Dragon has a reverse scale. Anyone who touches it will die. Wang Xian stood there with killing intent surging in his eyes. His gaze was fixed on everyone in the Bingxin Empire. Violence was brewing in his eyes. Everyone around was discussing in shock. No one expected that Ling Jian'er, who had obtained the title of the Supreme Leader, would be betrothed to the young master of Aotian by the Bingxin Empire. When Ling Jian'er heard her master and the Bingxin king's words, her face was also filled with shock and astonishment. Sister Jian'er, you are the most outstanding woman I have ever seen. Marry me, and I will let you enjoy the blessings of the heavens. I will let you become the most dazzling woman in the vast region. At this moment, Aotian was looking at Ling Jian'er with a face full of smiles and confidence. As he spoke, he slowly spread his arms and gave off a domineering aura. In the future, you will be the female owner of this sky. Hiss! The surrounding 100,000 people sucked in a breath of cold air when they heard young Master Aotian's declaration. Almost all the girls looked at Ling Jian'er with envy. However, Ling Jian'er's expression was getting uglier and uglier. She glanced at Aotian, and her gaze landed on the people from the Icy Heart Empire. I don't agree. I will make my own decisions. Her cold voice sounded. What? This? When Ling Jian'er's voice sounded, everyone from the Icy Heart Empire had a huge change in expression. The people around them were also stunned, and their eyes were shining with a strange light. Aotian, who was standing at the side, was slightly stunned. The arrogant expression on his face instantly froze. He turned to Ling Jian'er and glared at her with a pair of angry eyes. Jian'er, don't mess around. Marriage is a major event. It is the order of your parents. Furthermore, foster father and master are doing this for your own good. When the king of Bingxin heard Ling Jian'er's words, his expression changed slightly as he spoke in a domineering manner. Bing Qianquan Bing Fa, is this your decision? Wang Xian stared at the king of Bingxin and the white-haired old man. He called them by their names and questioned them in a cold tone. When the king of Bingxin and the white-haired old man heard Wang Xian's cold words, they frowned slightly and their expressions changed slightly. When everyone around saw this situation, their faces were filled with astonishment as they looked around. No one had expected such a situation to happen. Priest Wang Jian'er's marriage was decided after careful consideration by us. Let's give her a better life. My Bingxin Empire and my Bingxin Kuan have many daughters. They are all as beautiful as flowers. You can choose any one of them. Furthermore, as long as Priest Wang likes any of the beauties in the entire Bingxin Empire, I will make the decision for you. The king of Bingxin squeezed out a smile and said to Wang Xian, Haha, almost everyone knows that I, Wang Xian, came to the vast area from the flowing sea region to look for Jian'er. You guys are forcing me now. Wang Xian laughed out loud. His voice was filled with coldness. He sighed slowly at the last sentence. I already have someone in my heart. Ling Jian'er stood on the Heaven's Pride stage and shifted her gaze away from Wang Xian. She looked at the king of Bingxin and said calmly, The Bingxin Empire. Ling Jian'er's words and Wang Xian's words caused the two supreme elders of the Solitaire sect to turn gloomy instantly. They looked at Aotian, who was standing there with endless fury in his eyes. Their eyes were also filled with coldness and anger. The Bingxin Empire had said that they would betroth Bing Jian'er to the son of their supreme leader. But now they didn't agree. This was a slap to the face of the only sect. This was a violation of the dignity of the only sect. Supreme elders, leave this matter to the Ice Heart dynasty. The white-haired elder Bing Fa didn't feel the anger of the supreme elder of the only sect. His face changed greatly, and he quickly said, Aotian on the prodigy stage slowly raised his head and stood there expressionlessly looking down at everything. Jian'er, we have already made the decision on this matter. We are doing this for your own good. The matter is settled. In the future, you will marry into the only sect and become the wife of young Master Aotian. Cherish this opportunity. Bing Fa Wu's expression also turned cold as he ordered Ling Jian'er. As for Priest Wang, This matter is the matter of our Bingxin dynasty. It is not something you can participate in. But don't worry. Our Bingxin Empire will give you sufficient compensation. Bing Fa Wu said as he looked at the long-haired elder beside him. This is how the matter is decided. No one can change it. The long-haired elder announced with a gloomy face. Old geezer, how can the matter of Jian be decided by you two? As soon as the two of them finished speaking, Wang Xian's somewhat savage voice sounded. Bastard. When Bing Fa Wu and the long-haired elder heard Wang Xian's words, their faces instantly turned furious. Priest Wang, if it weren't for the fact that you healed me, I would have been able to kill you if you had said those words. Bing Fa Wu growled at him with a face full of anger. Old man, do you know that I was the one who helped you expel the dark soul in your body? How could the Bingxin Empire do such an ungrateful thing? Wang Xian raised his head and stared at Bing Fa Wu. You! Bing Fa Wu's face turned red when he heard his words. Shut up. This is a matter of our Bingxin Empire. You are just a priest. You don't have the right to interfere in our matters. Don't think that you are the #1 priest, and you dare to be so arrogant to our Bingxin Empire. Let me tell you, Jianer is lucky to be able to marry young Master Aotian. Compared to young Master Aotian, you are like a firefly competing with the bright moon. At this moment, Bing Jinghuan, who was standing at the side, had a ferocious look on his face. He was gloating as he shouted at Wang Xian. While Bing Jinghuan was shouting, the people from the Bingxin Empire did not stop him. When Wang Xian heard his words, a smile appeared on his face instead. He had already made a decision in his heart. I don't agree. On the Heaven's Pride stage, Ling Jianyar said with a determined gaze. She looked at Wang Xian and moved. Buzz. However, just as Ling Jianyar was about to fly towards Wang Xian, young Master Aotian took out a round ball from his hand. The round ball enveloped the Heaven's Pride stage. Ling Jianyar's expression changed. There was no fluctuation at all when she crashed into the formation. Aotian released Jianyar. Wang Xian saw it, and the terrifying killing intent that he was suppressing erupted. He shouted loudly. There is nothing that I, Aotian, cannot get. He looked down at Wang Xian with a domineering expression. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he looked at Ling Jian, who was at the side. Such an outstanding lady is only worthy of me, Aotian. No one else is worthy of her. As he spoke, he turned his gaze to everyone in the Bingxin Empire. Bingxin Empire, I hope that all of you can settle this successfully. I don't want to fight. He stood there arrogantly and said faintly. Don't worry, young Master Aotian. The king of Bingxin immediately cupped his hands and said firmly. Chapter 1582. 1582 1582 dead bodies, 1,000 miles of blood. Now my Bingxin dynasty announces. Princess Bing Jianer, marry young Master Aotian. Your parents' orders, matchmaker's words. If anyone dares to interfere, my Bingxin dynasty will definitely punish them severely. The king of Bingxin cupped his hands at young Master Aotian. His cold gaze swept across Wang Xian as he gritted his teeth and said coldly. He made the final announcement. What matchmaker's words? I am Jianer's father. What right does your Bingxin Empire have to be called Jianyar's parents? Jianer has lost her memory. How long has she been in your Bingxin Empire? Now that Jianer doesn't agree, what right do you have to force her? When Sect Master Ling, who was standing beside Wang Xian, heard King Bing Xian's words, he revealed an angry expression and roared loudly. Let me out. I won't marry him. Let me out. At the Heaven's Pride stage, Ling Jian brandished the metal longsword in her hand and thrust it heavily towards the formation. However, the sturdy formation did not have the slightest ripple. This is really unexpected. Now the Bingxin Empire is embarrassed. According to what I said, Bing Jian is not the daughter of the king of Bingxin. Instead, she was brought here by the patriarch of the Bingxin Empire not long ago. Bing Jian is obviously loyal to Priest Wang. Now, however, that Priest Wang is going to be in trouble. The woman that young Master Aotian wants, he doesn't have the qualifications at all. Everyone around looked on, pursed their lips and whispered. The Bingxin Empire is ungrateful. Today I Wang Xian announce, if Jianer doesn't leave with me today, I will definitely make your Bingxin Empire bleed for thousands of miles. Wang Xian swept his gaze across Ling Jian, and stared at everyone in the Bingxin Empire. His face was filled with killing intent as he announced the same thing. Ha 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 ha. Pastor Wang, I will give you face and address you as Pastor Wang. If I don't give you face, you are nothing in the eyes of our Bingxin Empire. Make my Bingxin Empire bleed for thousands of miles. Do you have the ability to do so? Haha. The long-haired elder from the Bingxin Empire laughed maniacally. A powerful aura that belonged to the 8th level of the see-through realm was emitted from his body as he stared at Wang Xian coldly. The rest of the people from the Bingxin Empire were also staring at Wang Xian with sparkling eyes. Haha, this is really interesting. This is really interesting. A radiant priest, a mere radiant priest, actually dares to challenge the Bingxin Empire. You are really arrogant and conceited. Do you dare to challenge the solipsistic sect? Don't think that just because you saved the crown prince of Wuxia Empire, you can act recklessly in the vast region. Bingxin Empire, don't have any scruples. All the consequences will be borne by the solipsistic sect. Aotian laughed maniacally when he heard Wang Xian's words. His laughter was filled with disdain. In the end, he promised the Bingxin Empire. Don't be afraid of the Wuxia Empire. Their only sect is here. I want to see how you can make our Bingxin Empire bleed for thousands of miles. The long-haired elder flew a few hundred meters forward and looked down at Wang Xian from the sky. Around them, Bing Fa Wu, the king Bing Qianquan, and the experts from the Bingxin Empire immediately flew into the sky and looked down as well. Aotian, you want me to marry you? Dream on. Ling Jianyar's cold voice sounded from within the array formation on the prodigy stage. HMPH, you'll be mine for the rest of your life. Not long from now, our wedding will be held under the watchful eyes of the world. Now, I'll bring you back to the only sect to take a look. Let's go, it's not good to watch that fellow die here. Aotian saw that everyone was looking in his direction. His expression was not good as he waved his arm. A hexagram pattern appeared in the sky above the heavens pride stage. Both of their figures disappeared instantly. Only sect, you are seeking your own destruction. Wang Xian saw Ling Jian, who had disappeared into the formation. His eyes slowly turned black. A violent aura was gathering on his body. A mere priest. Get rid of him as soon as possible. It's a waste of time. A supreme elder of Soli sect said indifferently. He gestured to the supreme elder beside him and leaped into the sky. He left directly through the long-distance teleportation of the hexagram. Remember, a radiant priest. Don't be so arrogant. Otherwise you will die. The long-haired elder from the Ice Heart Empire stared at Wang Xian and said indifferently, "Kill him." As the two of them spoke, they ordered the two people beside them. It's the old ancestor. The two powerhouses at level 7 of the see-through realm nodded and walked out slowly. That priest Wang is going to die. Who would have thought that the Saint of Light would end up like this? He's too arrogant. He dares to provoke anyone. This time, I'm afraid he's going to die. When everyone saw the enraged Bingxin Empire was about to make a move, their eyes sparkled as they discussed among themselves. When Wang Xian saw the two 7th level Profound Void Martial Stage powerhouses from Bingxin Empire flying out, he narrowed his eyes slightly. That kind of violent killing intent caused his eyes to slowly turn pitch black. You will only have face if our Bingxin Empire gives you face. If we don't give you face, you are nothing. The two experts at level 7 of the see-through void tier stared at Wang Xian and said with disdain. Behind him, Bing Jinghuan was watching this scene with excitement. Cough 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 cough, I'm finally here. I'm finally here. Priest Wang, save me. Cough cough, I'll help you. I'll help you kill them. I'll help you bleed thousands of miles and kill everyone. At this moment, a hunchbacked old man walked towards Wang Xian with his walking stick. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and looked at Wang Xian. He forced a smile on his face and said to Wang Xian in a fawning manner, "The two powerhouses at level 7 of the see-through realm who were about to make a move were slightly stunned. They looked at the old man. Who is that old man? A cripple? That old man seems to be a cripple. Is there something wrong with his brain? What is he doing here? The old man who appeared out of nowhere, and was even talking arrogantly, made everyone around him slightly stunned. You old fool who is courting death. Let's die together with you, Priest Wang. The two level 7 insightful void martial artists from the Bingxin Empire revealed a hint of cold disdain on their faces. The staffs and longswords in their hands shot out a violent stream of water and a bone-piercing ice sword. In an instant, they attacked Wang Xian and the hunchbacked old man. Buzz! Wang Xian looked at the two attacks without any emotion in his eyes. He slowly raised his arm. A wave of light energy blocked the attack directly. He turned his head slowly and looked at the hunchbacked old man who was begging to please him. I'll give you a chance to atone for your sins. Wang Xian's dark-haired eyes were filled with violence. He placed his other palm on the old man's chest. Buzz! A terrifying demonic aura entered the old man's body. The soul of darkness that he released instantly trembled. I want to destroy the Bingxin Empire. His cold voice was heard by the stooped old man. Chapter 1583. 1583 1583 corpses, 2,000 miles of blood. This is darkness, darkness, this. The hunchbacked old man sensed the dark energy in Wang Xian's body. His turbid eyes were wide open, filled with shock and disbelief. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva and stared blankly at Wang Xian's left hand. The dense light energy was resisting the attacks of the two 7th-level see-through void martial artists. On his right hand, rolling dark energy entered his body. Agree, live, disagree, die. Wang Xian looked at the hunchbacked old man, who was trembling at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were completely pitch black. Kiki, I like killing people. I will kill whoever you want. The hunchbacked old man felt the energy in his body recover. His face revealed an excited and twisted maniacal laughter as he roared loudly. To be honest, Pastor Wang, I like your personality. Kiki. The hunchbacked old man laughed loudly, and his figure instantly disappeared from Wang Xian's body. A black shadow attacked the two insightful void tier 7 powerhouses of the Bingxin Empire at a terrifying speed. The insightful void tier 7 powerhouse, who was surprised that Wang Xian had blocked the two of them in an instant, suddenly felt a sharp pain in his body. Kiki, Priest Wang said that he wants to destroy your Bingxin Empire. Then, he will destroy you. There will be millions of corpses and blood will flow for thousands of miles. Kiki. A horrifying voice suddenly resounded in the sky above the venue. Hiss. At the same time, the sound of tearing was heard. Under everyone's shocked gaze, the bodies of the two level 7 insightful void martial artists were directly torn apart by force. Blood, flesh, and internal organs flew everywhere. The blood fog slowly revealed the face of an extremely savage, skinny elder. The dark energy around the elder surged and condensed, as if it was about to explode at any moment. The smell of blood! The elder excitedly licked the blood at the corner of his mouth and shouted in a low voice. What? A rank 8 void interpretation expert. That hunchbacked elder is actually a rank 8 void interpretation expert. He instantly killed two rank 7 void interpretation experts from the Bingxin Empire. Heavens, what's going on? That hunchbacked old man is here to seek treatment from Priest Wang. And his condition is to annihilate the Bingxin dynasty? The surrounding people looked at the savage-looking old man with shock on their faces. Rank 8 void interpretation expert. When the Bingxin dynasty saw the two rank 7 experts instantly killed, their expressions instantly became extremely unsightly. Damn it, you old thing, you want to make an enemy out of our Bingxin dynasty. Seeing the sudden change, the elder with long hair and Isfa Wu roared with an ugly expression. Kiki, who asked you to offend Priest Wang, and only he can expel the dark soul in my body. I heard that you were also cured by Priest Wang. TSK. Don't you know that in my life, the people I want the most are those who are ungrateful? The stooped old man lifted his head slightly, as if he was enjoying himself. Streams of demonic aura surged violently in his body. This feeling made him feel extremely good. Priest Wang, it seems like we have really underestimated you. However, do you really think that you can destroy our Bingxin Empire just by relying on a person at level 8 of the Void Interpretation stage? Today, even if there is a powerhouse at level 8 of the Void Interpretation stage helping you, you will still die. The long-haired elder stared at Wang Xian and growled in a low voice with an embarrassed expression. A huge lotus staff appeared in his hand. Water was flowing on the lotus. Bing Fa Wu, who was at the side, had a solemn expression on his face. He was holding a long sword in his hand. Around him, the supreme elder of the solitaire sect looked at the hunchbacked elder and frowned slightly. Go to the sky and fight. Don't destroy the solitaire sect's territory. He warned the Bingxin Empire, and the hunchbacked old man arrogantly. Tsk tisk. The hunchbacked old man smiled sinisterly and looked at the supreme elder of the sect. From now on, don't call me Pastor Wang. Wang Xian glanced at the supreme elder of the sect and stared at everyone in the Bingxin Empire with his pitch-black pupils. Now, without Pastor Wang, I prefer others to call me. As he spoke, he slowly opened his arms, and wisps of black gas seeped out from his body. The change in Wang Xian's body immediately attracted everyone's attention. Everyone was astonished when they saw wisps of black gas seeping out from a powerful pastor of light. God! Demon! A roar came out from Wang Xian's mouth, and the light aura on his body was swept away. What replaced it was endless darkness. The thick darkness directly shot up from Wang Xian's body. A violent and terrifying aura swarmed around Wang Xian. Today I, Wang Xian, will not destroy the Ice Heart Empire and the Sky Demon. A wild roar came out from his mouth. The voice spread across thousands of miles. Everyone in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom could hear it clearly. In an instant, the entire ruins of the Divine Kingdom was silent for 2 seconds. Everyone looked towards the direction of the lone sect. Their eyes were wide open and filled with shock. This roar was simply too terrifying. Wasn't Wang Xian the name of Priest Wang? Eternal Bingxin Empire, no Sky Demon. This meant that Eternal Ice Heart Empire could not fully embody the name of Sky Demon. Priest Wang, Sky Demon. These two names were now like thunder in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. One was the Saint of Light, and the other was the #1 devil in the world, Sky Demon. What was the relationship between the Saint of Light and Sky Demon? In the He clan, everyone in the He clan had a huge change in expression when they heard this howl. All the experts of the He clan looked at each other before flying towards the direction of the howl. In Wuji Empire, Wuqing City, and the other experts were slightly shocked when they heard the roar. They immediately flew towards the direction of Solitaire Sect. Boom! What's going on? Oh my god, Priest Wang. How can Priest Wang be a Sky Demon? I can't believe it. The Saint of Light is actually a Sky Demon. Fuck, tell me this isn't real. The pinnacle of a radiant priest, the #1 devil in the vast region. How could they be the same person? All of these, the people around the Hall of Supreme Self, were all in shock. They couldn't believe it as they looked at Wang Xian, who had a demonic aura that shook the sky. Their eyes were wide open. Who could believe that the Saint of Light, the priest who saved the world with the hanging urn and had a benevolent heart, was actually able to wipe out 1 million people in the ancient demon city? The moment he appeared, he wiped out 25 sky fiends who were at the 7th level of the see-through void tier. This was simply too crazy. 2 extremely differentiated identities, one good and one evil. It shocked the world. Cough cough, how is this possible? At this moment, when everyone in the Bingxin Empire saw Wang Xian's violent roar and felt that terrifying aura, their pupils constricted slightly. A hint of fear appeared on their faces. They were not afraid of Pastor Wang, because no matter how strong a pastor was, he was not a match for the Bingxin Empire. However, they were afraid of the Sky Demon. A Sky Demon that made all the forces fear him. However, the words Eternal Bingxin Empire and Eternal Sky Demon resounded throughout the world. Chapter 1584. 1584 1,584 dead bodies, 3,000 miles of blood. Boom! Just when everyone was shocked by Wang Xian's identity, he swung his arm towards the sky above the Heaven's Pride stage. His arm instantly turned into a dragon claw. Terrifying dark energy landed on the top of the Heaven's Pride stage. Bzzz. Boom boom boom. A wave of energy rolled on the top of the Heaven's Pride stage. Hexagrams appeared and slowly collapsed. What are you trying to do? When the Supreme Elder of the Solipsistic sect saw that Wang Xian was the Sky Demon, his expression changed drastically. When he saw that Wang Xian had destroyed the long-distance teleportation, he growled in a low voice with an extremely embarrassed expression. Of course, I'm going to destroy all of you. Wang Xian looked at the Supreme Elder of the Solipsistic sect and said in a calm voice. Hiss! Wang Xian's words caused the hundreds of thousands of people present to suck in a breath of cold air. Everyone was staring at Wang Xian in a frenzy. Especially those from the Solipsistic sect. Their expressions kept changing. If it was someone else who said this, they might feel that it was beneath them. However, this was the Sky Demon, the famous Sky Demon. Regarding such a crazy demon, no one dared to doubt his words. Destroy us. The Supreme Elder of the Solipsistic sect had a slight change in expression when he heard Wang Xian's words. However, following that, a domineering aura emanated from his body. Sky Devil? So what if you are a Sky Devil? In this world, the Solipsistic sect is the most powerful sect. Even if you are a Sky Devil, don't be so arrogant today. The Supreme Elder of the Solipsistic sect roared in a low voice with a cold expression as he stood there. Kill! Today, I will destroy the Bingxin dynasty. I will make millions of corpses and make blood flow for thousands of miles. Kill! However, Wang Xian did not pay any attention to the threat of the Supreme Elder of the Solipsistic sect. He let out a furious roar. Roar! 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 Divine Dragon Transformation. A pitch-black divine dragon that was about 150 meters long appeared in the sky. Its brutal aura filled a radius of dozens of kilometers. Kiki kill kill kill. The stooped old man was able to kidnap Wang Xian to treat his injuries back then. It could be seen that he was not a good person. The stooped old man was also emitting a monstrous demonic aura as he charged forward to attack. Boss Demon, leave these two guys from the Bingxin Empire to me. The stooped old man glanced at Wang Xian with some shock and fear in his eyes. He let out a strange cry and went up to meet the Ice Dharma No and long-haired old man. He was fighting two people at the 8th level of the see-through void tier alone. Even though his body had just recovered, he had the confidence to do so. After all, his strength at his peak was not only at the 8th level of the see-through void tier. Kill! Everyone in the Ice Heart Empire looked extremely embarrassed when they saw this situation. Their hearts were trembling violently. It was out of their expectations. It was completely out of their expectations. They never expected that they would reach this stage. They never expected that the Saint of Light was actually a Sky Demon. Roar! Roar! At this moment, Wang Xian swayed his huge body and attacked the Supreme Elder of the Solitaire sect directly. Beast, you have offended the Solitaire sect. Kill him! The Supreme Elder of the Solitaire sect roared with a cold face. Numerous cyan-colored giant swords appeared around him. Dragon Kingdom in the palm. Wang Xian didn't hesitate at all, and didn't hold back at all. So what if he was from the Solitaire sect? Today, even if he had to risk his life, he would make everyone tremble in fear. He would also make the Solitaire sect tremble in fear. Only in this way would they not dare to do anything to Jian. Go to hell, Dharma Idol, Qingming Sword. The Supreme Elder of the Solitaire sect looked at the rumored demon claw with a grim expression. He immediately released his Dharma Idol. Numerous huge swords were emitting green wind waves, as if they were piercing through the sky. They attacked Wang Xian directly. Run! Run quickly! The battle between the experts of level 8 of the see-through realm is not something we can watch. Quick, quick! Oh my god! Who would have thought that this would happen? Who would have thought that Priest Wang is the Sky Demon? This time, the Bingxin Empire has offended the wrong person. Even the solipsistic sect has probably offended someone they shouldn't have offended. When the spectators saw the battle, they all fled in fear. The area of the battle of a rank 8 void interpretation expert covered an area of 20 kilometers. Within these 20 kilometers, if one was hit by the shockwaves, one would die instantly. Over 100,000 people fled in fear. I've said it before. The people of the Bingxin Empire and the Soul Heart sect must die. Wang Xian crushed the Supreme Elder's Qingming sword form with his dragon claw. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at the Soul Heart sect and everyone from the Bingxin Empire who wanted to escape. Roar, roar, Dharma idol, abyss demonic dragon. Wang Xian roared loudly. The demonic aura on his body burst out. Every scale of his divine dragon body was trembling. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, a huge pitch-black door suddenly appeared in the sky. The huge black door was like an abyss as it opened slowly. Buzz. The demonic dragon pearl of the 8th level of the see-through realm, in Wang Xian's body, rushed into the huge abyss door. Roar! Roar! A roar that sounded like a tyrant's roar was heard from the huge abyss door. Then a huge dragon head came out of the abyss. It had brutal blood-red eyes and a ferocious face. With the demonic dragon pearl as its soul and dark energy as its body, the demonic dragon slowly came out. The terrifying aura on its body made everyone tremble. My God, what is that? What a terrifying aura. It's at least at the 8th level of the profound void martial stage. At this moment, the experts from the Wuxia Empire, the He clan, and the other factions were flying towards them. When they saw the terrifying creatures coming out from the huge black door that covered an area of 10 kilometers, all of them sucked in a breath of cold air. Even the experts at the 8th level of the profound void martial stage stopped in fear. What on earth happened to make that sky demon so angry that he even wanted to kill the disciples of our sect? Everyone's eyes flickered as they looked over and thought to themselves, "Oh no, run. All disciples of our sect, run away now. I see law enforcement, go and block the dark creatures in the sky." The Supreme Elder of our sect saw another terrifying creature appear in the sky, and his heart pounded violently. He hurriedly shouted, "Supreme Elder, our opponent is very strong. We can't separate our bodies at all." The two ancestors of the Ice Heart Empire roared with trembling voices. At this moment, they were completely flustered. The hunchbacked old man in front of them was actually able to fight two people at the same time without being at a disadvantage. In fact, he was even able to do it with ease. This caused the Sky Demon to summon another level 8 creature of the profound void martial stage. He was completely unable to block it. Kill! The Abyss Demon Dragon let out a hoarse and brutal aura. His black dragon flame landed on all the disciples of the lone sect. Ah! Screams sounded instantly. The disciples of the Solitaire sect, who had always been high and mighty and thought that they were superior, revealed a terrified expression. As the dark demon flame landed, screams sounded. At this moment, they knew that the Sky Demon didn't care that they were the disciples of the Solitaire sect. It might really be as they had said, causing millions of corpses to be buried and thousands of miles of blood to flow. Chapter 1585. 1585 1,585 and 8,500,000 dead bodies. And 10,000 miles of blood. Bastard, die! My sect will definitely behead you. Screams of pain rang out from the surroundings. Even the elders of the sect, who were at level 6 of the see-through void stage, could not withstand a single strike from the Abyss Demonic Dragon. The violent demonic dragon, the terrifying demonic flames, and even the violent power of darkness swept past, causing the deaths of many disciples of the sect. When the Supreme Elder of the sect saw Wang Xian's murderous look, he was furious. A green wind radiance enveloped his entire body. Dharma Idol Storm Blade. At this moment, the Supreme Elder of the sect did not dare to restrain himself. He unleashed all the power in his body. A terrifying storm formed around him. At the center of the storm, the wind blade was spinning. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of mountains being torn apart rang out in the surroundings. The two mountains that were thousands of meters tall on both sides were directly turned into sharp rocks by the wind blades. Some of the disciples of the Soul Heart sect, and the people from the Ice Heart Empire, were even directly crushed by the wind blades when they weren't able to dodge in time. The area affected by a battle between experts was simply too large. When it came to a real battle, there was no time to care about the weak. Screams of pain rang out instantly. In an instant, thousands of people died in the aftermath of his Dharma idol. Everyone fled into the distance in panic. They wished they could grow a pair of wings. Explode! Wang Xian's pitch-black pupils were like an abyss. At the location of his heart, the heart of light and darkness, the glow of darkness flourished and almost completely covered the traces of light. An unceasing stream of dark energy surged into his entire body, causing each of Wang Xian's attacks to be unusually violent. The incomparably huge dark dragon clawed directly at the supreme elder of the solipsistic sect. The violent darkness contained within collided heavily with the storm blades, resulting in a terrifying explosion. A shockwave was sent out in all directions. Buzz! At this moment, the people nearby seemed to have lost their voices. The two mountains that were thousands of meters tall collapsed immediately, and the ground collapsed more than 10 meters deep. The collision of the terrifying energy caused the entire space to tremble. Break! When the supreme elder of the solipsistic sect saw this scene, his expression was extremely unsightly. The storm blades were neutralized, and the terrifying dragon claws were still present. He waved his hands with an extremely unsightly expression. A terrifying hurricane force wanted to lift Wang Xian into the sky to fight. In less than 5 minutes, the foundation of the entire sect would be reduced to ruins. Is that all you have? Then go to hell. Wang Xian stared coldly at the supreme elder of the sect. His huge dragon mouth opened slowly. Dragon head to the world. Roar! A dragon head that was 3 to 4 kilometers in size appeared in the sky. The eyes that were the size of a house and 4 long dark dragon whiskers were like monsters from another world. A dragon roar shook the entire ruins of the divine kingdom. Wang Xian opened his huge dragon mouth and swallowed the supreme elder of the sect, who was like an ant. Damn it! The supreme elder of the solitaire sect looked at the dragon mouth that was a few kilometers in size. He felt as though a huge abyss was swallowing him. It was the first time he had encountered such a terrifying creature. With a body size of a few kilometers, a small-scale attack could not cause any damage to his body. However, a large-scale attack would consume too much energy. The wind rose and the earth shook. A terrifying cyan light condensed in the middle. The cyan glow floated in the air for a total of 2,000 to 3,000 meters. The wind currents in the cyan glow surged at a speed that could tear through everything. It met the attack of the dragon's mouth directly. Roar! Roar! 10,000-mile dragon body. Wang Xian did not dodge at all. He went straight for the terrifying cyan glow to devour it. Hiss this! This is fucking unbelievable. It directly devoured the Dharma idol of the solicitous sect's level 8 see-through expert. Oh my god, look at the body of that sky demon. What kind of Dharma idol does the sky demon cultivate? How can it be so terrifying? At this moment, the experts of the Wuxia Empire, the He clan, and the other forces arrived at a place more than 10 kilometers away from the battlefield. Seeing that the sky demon directly swallowed the green light, all of them had shocked expressions on their faces. Especially when they saw the dragon body behind the heavenly devil expanding at a terrifying speed. It expanded to an area of 7 to 8 kilometers. 3 to 4 kilometers of dragon balls, 3 to 4 kilometers of dragon heads, and 7 to 8 kilometers of dragon bodies. Such a terrifying colossus, even with a light sweep, possessed terrifying destructive power. Hiss this! When the supreme elder of the solipsistic sect saw the Dharma idol being devoured, his expression was extremely ugly. When the entire Dharma idol was devoured, his expression changed drastically when he saw the dragon mouth that covered an area of a few kilometers heading towards him. Too strong! He quickly dodged to the side with an ugly expression. His body shook, and a pair of green wings appeared on his back. Crash! However, at this moment, pitch-black chains in the sky swept towards him. Not good. The Supreme Elder of the Lone Sect revealed a trace of fear in his eyes, as he slashed out with his swords towards the black chains. Roar! However, in just an instant, he felt his surroundings turn dark as a violent energy charged towards him. His expression was filled with shock, as though he had entered a black hole and wanted to rush out. However, the violent dark energy was like an ocean, directly annihilating him. A level 8 profound void martial artist has fallen. Hiss. A level 8 profound void martial artist. Other than those who died of natural causes, it has been over 1,000 years since such an ancestor-level expert died. This Scythian strength is really terrifying. Even a level 8 profound void martial artist can be killed so quickly. When the surrounding people saw the Supreme Elder of the Lone Sect being devoured, their expressions instantly changed. They were discussing in shock. The 8th level of the see-through realm could be considered to be an expert that could suppress an area of 100,000 kilometers in the Transcendence continent. Now he was actually killed. This allowed everyone to have a deeper understanding of the strength of the Sky Demon. Roar! Boom! Boom! With a roar, Wang Xian's body, which was more than 10 kilometers long, landed on the ground. The entire area of the Soul Heart sect was in a mess. His gigantic dragon eyes stared at the two patriarchs of the Ice Heart Empire in the sky. Run, run now! Being stared at by the gigantic dragon eyes, the hearts of the two patriarchs of the Ice Heart Empire, who were facing the hunchbacked old man, pounded violently. Without any hesitation, they fled into the distance frantically. Chapter 1586. 1586 1,586 corpses, and 5,000 miles of blood. Damn cowards. If I was at my peak, I could crush you all with one hand. The stooped old man looked furious when he saw the two ancestors of the Bingxin Empire escaping. The soul of darkness in his body had not been cleared by Wang Xian. He was only suppressed. His strength had not reached its peak yet. With the strength that he had just recovered a little, he could easily pin down two experts at the 8th level of the see-through realm. However, it was still a little difficult to keep them alive. Bingxin Empire, I will destroy your country and your people. I will make your blood flow for tens of thousands of miles. I will destroy all your cities and destroy all the members of the Royal Ice Clan. Destroy your country and your clan. I will come and look for you very soon. Wait for my arrival. Roar, roar. Wang Xian's tyrannical dragon eyes stared at the long-haired elder and Bing Fa Wu who were fleeing. A ghastly voice was transmitted over. The two figures, who had already fled 10 kilometers away, trembled in the air. Their expressions were extremely ugly. There was a hint of fear in their eyes. They had never expected that they would be faced with the calamity of having their country annihilated, just because they had taken the initiative to marry Ling Jian, to the young master Aotian, in order to curry favor with the solipsistic sect. They even wanted to exterminate all the members of the Imperial Ice Clan. As the Ice Empire that had stood tall in the vast region for tens of thousands of years, the members of the Ice Clan alone numbered in the tens of millions. Most of them were gathered in the Ice Heart Imperial City. With the ferocity and tyranny of the Sky Demon, he would definitely do as he said. Why is Pastor Wang the Sky Demon? Why? They could not help but roar in their hearts. Their faces were filled with bitter smiles, and thick regret surged into their hearts. Because of a woman, because of them, they had directly plunged the Bingxin dynasty into danger. Let's go back immediately. Master 8 is in the Imperial City. I refuse to believe that with the strength of the three of us, and with the foundation of our Bingxin dynasty, we can't resist a Sky Devil. Both of them revealed an extremely embarrassed expression. With a gloomy expression, they fled quickly towards the Imperial City of the Bingxin Empire. Wang Xian didn't chase after them, because they couldn't escape. If they dared to run, he would dare to exterminate everyone in the Bingxin Empire. Boom! He swayed his huge body, and looked towards the direction in front of him. The Abyss Demon Dragon was wreaking havoc on everything in the area of the Lone Sect. Everything within a radius of dozens of kilometers had turned into ruins. On the ground, there were tens of thousands of corpses. The most eye-catching thing was that in the center, there was a formation that was emitting green light. The formation was like a green castle. There was no light circulating, as if it was material. Even though the abyss demon dragon had struck it more than 10 times, it did not break. Inside the formation, more than 30 middle-aged young men and old men were looking outside with pale faces. When they saw Wang Xian's dragon eyes looking over, their hearts trembled. Wang Xian's body swayed, and he came to the top of the formation. His pair of emotionless dragon eyes were staring inside. Sky Demon, if you dare to kill us, my lone sect will kill you even if we have to chase you to the ends of the earth. In the middle of the formation, an old man shouted loudly. Bang! Wang Xian's dragon claws landed heavily on the formation, enveloping the entire formation. Waves of dense dark energy corroded the formation. The continuous darkness caused the green formation to turn black slowly. Let us go, let us go! Upon seeing this scene, the people from the lone sect in the formation were completely flustered as they shouted in horror. Crack, crack. The formation cracked slowly, causing the people inside to feel even more despair. I, Wang Xian, am here today to warn all of you from the lone sect. Wang Xian opened his dragon mouth, and his voice spread across a radius of more than 10,000 kilometers. If Jianer is missing a single hair, I will fight to the death with all of you, the only sect. Everything here is a warning to all of you. If you don't send Jianer over, I will kill every single disciple of the only sect I see until I die or all of you die. Wang Xian's tone was filled with endless killing intent as he roared. His gaze slowly landed on the area below the dragon claw. It was an elder of the 7th level of the see-through void sect of the solicitous sect, as well as a group of elite disciples. Even the 2 heavens favorites from heaven and earth were also located within the formation. They looked at Wang Xian with trembling eyes. Their arrogant and confident expressions that were above everything vanished completely. In front of Wang Xian, they were like ants. Wang Xian's gigantic dragon claw pointed straight ahead. A stream of resplendent black light descended from the dragon claw. No, I don't want to die yet. I don't want to die. Don't kill me, don't kill me. In front of Wang Xian, the 2 peerless heavens favorites in heaven and earth had completely lost their hatred for Wang Xian. They only hoped that Wang Xian would spare their lives. As the dragon claws descended, corpses were instantly left on the ground. The heavens favorites from the heavens and the earth of the solitaire sect died immediately. They were unexcelled in their glory. The 2 heavens favorites who had declared their dominance over the entire vast region were crushed to death like ants. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, waves of terrifying demonic flames came from the sky. In the sky, the abyss demonic dragon opened its huge mouth. Rolling dark flames fell towards the ground. Everything was burned and corroded by the darkness. There was nothing in the entire solipsistic sect's base in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Go and destroy the territory of the Bingxin Empire in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the surroundings. Finally, he looked at the hunchbacked old man and said to him, It's Boss Demon. I'm the best at killing and setting fires. Kiki. The hunchbacked old man moved and flew directly towards the direction of the Bingxin Empire. This sky devil actually threatened our sect and killed everyone here. As expected of the Sky Devil, he isn't afraid of our sect at all, and isn't afraid of their revenge. This kind of devil, whoever dares to provoke him will be courting death. The Bingxin Empire was originally on good terms with Priest Wang. Why did he suddenly become so angry and vow to exterminate him, or even his entire clan? Shocked voices sounded out from the surroundings. Everyone looked at the ruined solipsism and gulped. This was one of the 3 superpowers, the solipsism. Many people were curious about the reason why Priest Wang was so angry. He didn't care about the solipsism and swore to destroy the Ice Heart dynasty. Soon, everything that happened here and the cause of it were spread to the various superpowers. When they received this news, everyone was stunned. This caused them to mock the Bingxin dynasty. Priest Wang has been kind to you, yet you are ungrateful. In the end, they never expected that Priest Wang was the legendary sky demon. This time, the Bingxin dynasty was completely destroyed. Looking at the figure in the ruins ahead, the eyes of the experts from the various factions flashed. Chapter 1587. 1587 buried millions of corpses and bled thousands of miles. Boom, boom, boom. In the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, the silence did not last long when the rumbling sound was heard again. Has it started? It seems that the Sky Demon is going to exterminate the Bingxin dynasty this time, and it will be a bloody extermination. Won't the Sky Demon exterminate everyone in the Bingxin dynasty? That's tens of billions of people. It's impossible to exterminate everyone. It's highly possible to exterminate the royal family's Ice Clan. The Sky Demon said that just now. Who asked the Iceheart dynasty to be ungrateful? They deserve to be kicked into the abyss. Hearing the roars and screams from the Iceheart dynasty, everyone felt their hearts tremble. The hunchbacked old man was also a ruthless person. Are we going to destroy the country? In less than 5 minutes, a terrifying black shadow flew over directly. In front of him, a blood-red ball of blood was pulsating in front of him. The blood ball was extremely strange and evil. Wang Xian's gaze swept across the surroundings. His body moved and immediately returned to his size of about 150 meters. His gaze was fixed on the stooped old man. Hee, Boss Missouri, this is a good item in my hands. This is the bloodline of the Ice Clan of the Bingxin Empire. Since Boss Missouri wants to exterminate your entire clan, I will naturally help you to prepare properly. With this bloodline demon group, I can sense everyone in the Bingxin Empire. When the time comes, I will kill them directly. Hee. How about it, Boss Missouri? Isn't this one very powerful? The stooped old man's eyes lit up as he said to Wang Xian in a fawning manner. Let's go. Wang Xian gave a cold glance. His body moved, and he flew directly in the direction of the Bingxin Empire. All right, Boss Demon. The stooped old man grinned and flew in the sky, following closely behind Wang Xian. In this world, anyone who dares to provoke me, Boss Demon, will die. I don't care if you are from the solipsistic sect or the Bingxin Empire. Hee. The hunchbacked elder let out a maniacal laugh that spread throughout the entire ruins of the Divine Kingdom. 2 terrifying demonic shadows flew rapidly towards the Bingxin Empire. The Sky Demon is not simple. That elder is not simple either. At the position of the Wuxia Empire, Patriarch Dark Eye, and all the experts of the Wuxia Empire were standing at a spot more than 10 kilometers away. Looking at the figures of Wang Xian and the stooped old man, Patriarch Dark Eye said with a slightly solemn tone. Oh, Patriarch? Even you think that the Sky Demon and the old man are stronger? Wu Qingcheng, who was standing at the side, asked in shock when he heard Patriarch Dark Eye's words. Wang Xian had caused too much trouble this time. He had killed all the experts and core disciples of the Solitaire sect. This matter was no longer something that he could lend a hand to. Every single one of them has a terrifying energy hidden in their bodies. Dark Pupil frowned, and his eyes were filled with solemnity. They might even be able to escape under my hands. Hiss! When everyone in the Wuxia Empire heard their forefathers' evaluation, they all took a deep breath. This was the forefather of their empire, who was nearly invincible in the vast region. He actually had such a high evaluation of the Sky Demon and the hunchbacked old man. That Wang Xian is really mysterious. He cultivates both light and darkness. I really don't understand. Wu Qingcheng looked at the sky with a complicated expression. This Sky Demon killed many disciples of the Solitaire sect and destroyed the base of the Solitaire sect. The Solitaire sect should be furious. This Sky Demon is really unbridled. Now he's going to destroy the Iceheart Empire. What's going to happen next is interesting. The experts of the Southern Royal Family were also discussing at the side. The vast region was about to become lively. The Saint of Light, Priest King was a sky demon. The Ice Heart dynasty had ungratefully betrothed Bing Jian, to young Lord Aotian. The news of Priest King vowing to destroy the Ice Heart dynasty quickly spread throughout the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. When everyone heard the news, their faces were filled with shock and disbelief. First of all, the fact that the Sage of Light was a sky demon made many people feel incredulous. However, many people still supported Priest Wang in this sudden battle. Firstly, Priest Wang had saved many people, and secondly, the people that the sky demon had killed were all extremely vicious. On the contrary, it was the ingratitude of the Ice Heart Empire that made everyone despise them. Boss Demon, the location in front is a city of the Bingxin Empire. Wang Xian and the hunchbacked old man were extremely fast. In just a few minutes, they had already flown a few thousand kilometers. The Bingxin Empire was not very far from the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Very soon, a city appeared in their line of sight. Kill! Wang Xian did not hesitate at all. His tyrannical eyes flew towards the city in front of him. His body was filled with brutality. If he overused the dark energy, the brutal dark energy would fill his mind. Kiki, its boss Missouri. Anyone with the bloodline of the Bingxin Empire, kill them all. The hunchbacked old man let out a weird cry. The shadows of the two of them instantly appeared above the city. The city covered an area of 100 kilometers. The population below had reached tens of millions. All citizens of the Bingxin dynasty, listen up. The royal family of the Bingxin dynasty has offended our Lord Skyfiend. All of you, kneel on the ground immediately. The hunchbacked elder floated in the sky as a ghastly and terrifying voice charged downwards. Crack! 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 The instantly activated city protection array was instantly blasted apart by a powerful force. A terrifying pressure covered the area below. What? My sky? Sky demon? It's that demon sky demon. In the city, everyone raised their heads and looked at the two terrifying demon shadows in the sky. Their faces were filled with fear. Even some insightful void martial artists were filled with shock. After today, there will be no more Ice Heart Empire. Wang Xian's cold dragon eyes stared downwards. A surge of demonic dragon's might was directed downwards. Everyone in the city had a drastic change in expression as they spat out blood. You bunch of damned Bingxin Empire bastards, hurry up and kneel down. The hunchbacked old man roared at the people below. Yes, yes. Kneel down, hurry up and kneel down. My God. Everyone hurriedly knelt on the ground, their eyes filled with terror. All those who have the bloodline of the royal family of the Bingxin dynasty will die. Kiki. Extermination, I love it the most. When everyone was kneeling on the ground, the hunchbacked old man waved his arm. The blood ball in front of him directly attacked the figures below. Those who possessed the royal bloodline were mostly the upper echelons of the city. Faced with the strange methods of the hunchbacked old man, the people from the royal family of Bingxin revealed terrified expressions. Ah! Continuous sounds rang out. At least 1,000 people in the entire city were all dead. Boom! Wang Xian's gaze swept past them. He didn't pay any attention to them, and continued to fly towards the direction of the Bingxin Empire. Don't blame him for being ruthless. He treated the Bingxin Empire very well. In fact, he even owed them a favor. However, they repaid his kindness with enmity and wanted to kill him. In that case, he should start paying the price with blood. 1,000,000 corpses will be buried, and blood will flow for thousands of miles. Begin. Chapter 1588. 1588, there were 1,588 dead bodies, and thousands of miles of blood. There's news from Wanbei city of the Bingxin Empire. The Sky Demon and an old man with monstrous demonic aura have appeared. All the disciples of the royal family of the Bingxin Empire have been killed. Kill anyone who doesn't kneel. This is the 8th city. While Wang Xian and the hunchbacked old man were massacring in the Bingxin Empire, the news had also spread to the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Everyone had shocked expressions on their faces. This sky demon really wants to exterminate all the members of the royal family of the Bingxin Empire. Sky Demon is worthy of being a Sky Demon. The unkillable Bingxin Empire, the unkillable Sky Demon. He is fulfilling his promise. Back then, Pastor Wang helped the patriarch of the Bingxin Empire expel the dark soul from his body for free. Now they have forcefully separated Ling Jian'er and Wang Xian. They even want to kill Pastor Wang. Naturally, Pastor Wang will not let them off. I support Pastor Wang to exterminate the empire. All ungrateful people, kill them all. In the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, everyone was discussing loudly after receiving the news. The extermination of the empire was being carried out under the attention of the entire vast region. If the Bingxin Empire was exterminated, it would set off a storm in the vast region. In an incomparably beautiful city, screams of pain could be heard endlessly. More than 10,000 people kiki. The hunchbacked elder flew over and licked his tongue. The ball of blood in front of him was already 2 meters in size. The dancing ball of blood looked abnormally evil. Boss Devil, more than 1,000 kilometers ahead, is the imperial city of the Ice Heart Empire, the majestic empire on the Ice Heart Lake. The entire imperial city has been standing for more than 10,000 years. There must be many powerful arrays inside. The hunchbacked old man pointed ahead and said with excitement in his eyes, "Let's go." Wang Xian didn't hesitate at all and flew directly toward the imperial city of the Bingxin Empire. Today, no matter what, the country must be destroyed and people must be killed. Only cruelty and bloodshed could make the sect afraid. Only then would the sect not dare to do anything to Jian'er, regardless of whether it was the anger and brutality in his heart or for Jian'er's sake. Today, the sky would definitely be dyed red. It's just ahead. It's been a long time since I last started killing. The hunchbacked old man's turbid eyes were filled with excitement. Wang Xian stared ahead. In front of him was an incomparably huge lake. The water in the lake was so clear that the bottom could be seen. In the center was a huge castle. The entire castle was suspended above the lake. It was like a world in a dream. At this moment, the huge castle was completely enveloped in the azure blue lake water. Roar roar Ice Dharmaraja. Is the Bingxin Empire ready to be destroyed? Wang Xian stared at the castle in front of him, and a strong murderous intent shot out from his eyes. Damn Sky Demon! Our Bingxin Empire has stood in the vast region for more than 10,000 years. Is it really that easy to destroy our empire? At this moment, in front of the main gate of the Bingxin Imperial City, all the experts of the Bingxin Empire were standing on the city wall. There were more than 100,000 people. Their eyes were filled with killing intent as they stared at Wang Xian and the stooped old man. The long-haired old man looked extremely embarrassed as he stared at them and growled in a low voice. Those who dare to offend our Bingxin Empire will be killed without mercy. Killed without mercy? What Sky Devil and Earth Devil? As long as they dare to go against our Bingxin dynasty, let them go to hell. That's right. Kill the Sky Devil, hang his head on the city wall, and chop his body into pieces. On the city wall, the experts of the Bingxin dynasty shouted sternly. The 3 forefathers of the Bingxin dynasty stood in the center. The king of the Ice Heart dynasty stood to the side. The king of the Ice Heart dynasty did not die in the martial arts arena of the Solitaire sect. As the king of a first-rate force, he had powerful life-saving methods. The moment the battle broke out, he escaped with his son Bing Jinghuan. Looking at the Sky Demon in front of him, his body trembled. Right and wrong, regret, unwillingness, anger, and finally thick killing intent. We must kill the Sky Fiend, we must. Hee hee. I thought you were so powerful, but you were still hiding in your nest. Look, this is the blood of the royal family of the Bingxin dynasty. The blood flows for thousands of miles, and more than 200,000 dog lives. Hee 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 hee. The hunchbacked old man moved and floated in the center, the blood in front of him jumping. An evil aura emanated from his body, and his appearance was that of an evil villain. What? That ball of blood gives me a very familiar feeling. This, damn devil, kill him, kill him. Blood flowing for tens of thousands of miles? How dare he slaughter the members of our royal family's Ice Clan? We can't let them off. The hundreds of thousands of people on the city walls were mostly members of the royal family's Ice Clan. When they saw this scene, their eyes turned blood red as they roared with killing intent. Even the three elders of the Bingxin Empire had blood-red eyes, and their bodies were trembling slightly. Priest Wang, you've killed them as well. Now, do you really want to fight to the death with our Bingxin Empire? Bing Fafu stared at Wang Xian with an extremely embarrassed expression as he roared in a low voice. There's no need for the ungrateful clan to exist in this world. Wang Xian roared with a furious expression. He opened his huge dragon mouth, and a ball of black flame flew straight towards the imperial city. Good. Do you really think that our Bingxin Empire will be afraid of you? The white-bearded elder, who was in the middle, roared with a ferocious expression. He waved his arm. Buzz! The formation that included the imperial city of Bingxin condensed into a giant sword that was 1,000 meters in size. The giant sword flew towards Wang Xian and the hunchbacked elder. Such a powerful attack formation. TSK. The hunchbacked old man looked at the huge sword that was attacking him with a cold look in his eyes. He waved his arm and numerous black spears flew towards the huge sword. Boom! 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 The sound of intense explosions could be heard. That's right. An attack formation can threaten a powerhouse at level 8 of the see-through realm, as expected of an empire that has stood for tens of thousands of years. The hunchbacked old man licked his tongue and looked at Wang Xian. Boss Demon, it's a little troublesome. An offensive formation can threaten a powerhouse at level 8 of the see-through realm. A defensive formation will definitely be able to withstand an attack from a powerhouse at level 8 of the see-through realm. He said to Wang Xian, You wish to destroy our Bingxin Empire? Dream on. At the city wall, the three old men from the Bingxin Empire stared at Wang Xian and the stooped old man with eyes filled with killing intent. Is that so? I really want to give it a try. Wang Xian licked his lips and stared at the sky above the Bingxin Imperial City. Dharma Idol, Abyss Demonic Dragon. Wang Xian roared loudly. Darkness gathered in the sky, and a huge abyss door slowly appeared. Although I haven't achieved the fusion of light and darkness, I can achieve the balance between light and darkness. Let's try this move. After Wang Xian released his Dharma Idol, Abyss Demonic Dragon, a ray of light slowly appeared in the abyss like deep dragon's eyes. The light slowly covered his body. For the first time, he transformed into a divine light dragon. The dragon pearl was spat out from his mouth. The light power in the heart of light and darkness was activated at full strength. Countless rays of light surged towards the light dragon pearl. A divine light dragon that was similar to the abyss demonic dragon condensed in the sky. One light and one darkness. The yin and yang were polar opposites, creating and destroying each other. Wang Xian forcefully created two divine light dragons and dark divine dragons with the same strength. Two dragons destroy the world. Chapter 1589. 1589 dyed the sky red. Roar! 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 Two roars sounded in front of the royal city of Bingxin. In the sky, a huge abyss gate slowly opened up above the city. An abyss demon dragon extended its huge and ferocious head. A roar came from the mouth of the abyss demon dragon. In front of Wang Xian, a divine light dragon condensed. It had a dazzling white glow, a holy body and lifelike dragon scales. It also let out a dragon roar. How can a person control both the darkness and light attributes? What a terrifying aura. How did we provoke such a powerful enemy? The Saint of Light and the Celestial Demon. How did we provoke him? Damn it. How dare he come to our Bingxin royal city? Who cares about the Celestial Demon or the Saint of Light? Kill him, kill him. At this moment, within the Bingxin imperial city, everyone's faces were filled with fear as they looked at the abyssal demonic dragon and the divine light dragon in the sky. The entire huge imperial city was incomparably silent. Tens of millions of people were paying attention. Some were shocked, while others were incomparably furious. It is impossible to break our formation. Our Bingxin Empire has stood for tens of thousands of years. Without the arrival of the profound void Tier 9 formation, we can forget about breaking it. The king of Bingxin looked at the abyss demon dragon and the divine light dragon that had formed in the sky with an extremely ugly expression. He growled in a low voice. The three patriarchs also stared at them with a gloomy expression. They did not move at all. They had already witnessed the strength of Wang Xian and the hunchbacked old man. Even if the three of them joined forces to attack, they were still not a match for Wang Xian and the rest. They could only rely on the formation in the imperial city to defend and battle. Looking at the light and dark creatures in the sky, the three of them looked extremely solemn. Two dragons converging. Wang Xian stared at the two divine dragons of light and dark in the sky. One of the eyes of the two divine dragons slowly turned black. Roar! Roar! The two divine dragons circled around each other. They had the same strength, so their strength couldn't hurt the other party at all. Kill! Wang Xian waved his dragon claw. The two dragons that were circling around each other were completely entangled together. Their bodies rolled and swayed as they attacked the Bingxin Imperial City directly. You want to break through the city of our Bingxin Imperial City with just these two beasts? Dream on! Seeing the two light and dark divine dragons that were more than 100 meters in size attacking them, Ice Master Wuxia waved his arm. Azure light flashed, and ripples appeared on the Ice Heart Lake. The ripples surged toward the Ice Heart Imperial City, and a palm that was about 5,000 meters long appeared in the sky. Kill these two creatures. Those who dare to attack the Ice Heart Imperial City will die. Those who offend the Ice Heart Imperial City will be killed. On the city wall, the experts in the Ice Heart Imperial City shouted in excitement when they saw the enormous palm appear. Roar! Roar! The two light-dark divine dragons stared at the palm that had completely covered them and let out a roar. Boom! The gigantic palm landed, and the two divine dragons met it head-on. A terrifying collision sound was heard, and the two light-dark divine dragons were sent flying backward. HMPH, even if you use all your strength today, don't even think about stepping into our royal city of Bingxin. Bing Fa didn't see this situation. A cold smile appeared on his face as he shouted at Wang Xian. Even if we don't attack, you won't be able to enter our Ice Heart Imperial City. Sky Demon, scram immediately. The white-bearded old man standing in the middle shouted with anger and confidence. Scram, scram for me. Damn devil, damn thing, scram for me. Even if I stand here and don't move, you won't be able to kill me. The words of the two patriarchs boosted the confidence of everyone in the Ice Heart Imperial City. They cursed at Wang Xian, who was standing outside. That's what I'm talking about. Our magnificent Ice Heart Empire has stood for tens of thousands of years. How can we be defeated so easily? Although that Sky Devil is powerful, he's still a little arrogant if he wants to destroy our Ice Heart Imperial City. Humph, that darn Skyfiend said that he wants us to bleed for thousands of miles. Come over if you have the strength. In the quiet city, everyone's confidence was boosted when they saw the scene outside the city wall. At the beginning, they were all extremely nervous because of their fear of the name Skyfiend. Now that they saw that the Skyfiend could not enter at all, they immediately felt much more relaxed. Some of the hot-tempered people pointed outside and started cursing. In an instant, the entire Ice Heart Imperial City became lively. Hee hee, how interesting. I didn't expect to see such an interesting scene. In a luxurious building closest to the main city gate, more than 10 young men and women sat on the roof with smiles on their faces. From their positions, they could clearly see everything outside. A young man glanced around with interest on his face, as he said with a smile. That's right. The Sky Demon has come to attack the Bingxin Imperial City. This is a matter that will shake the vast region. A young man beside him echoed with a smile. Humph, so what if it's the Sky Demon? It's still watching from the outside. A few young men dressed in the uniform of the Bingxin Imperial family said with cold expressions. Haha, but the Sky Demon is very powerful to be able to force you to this point. The youth dressed in golden clothes in the middle smiled and looked outside. They didn't care that the Sky Demon wanted to destroy the Ice Heart dynasty. Even if the city gate was breached, they weren't worried at all. Because they were disciples of the Southern royal family. The Sky Demon did not dare to kill them, and offended the Southern royal family instead. This is only the beginning. Outside the city gate, Wang Xian heard the curses and taunts coming from within the imperial city. A hint of a cold smile appeared on his face. He slowly extended 2 dragon claws. The light dark divine dragon that was sent flying backward swayed its body, and continued to circle together. Destroy! With a low roar, the light dark divine dragons once again flew toward the city wall. Stubborn fools continue. Seeing the 2 light dark divine dragons attacking again, a cold expression appeared on Frost Faceless Ice's face. He waved his arm, and the huge palm of light struck out again. Roar! Roar! The light dark divine dragons' heads were close together, and they let out a dragon roar at the same time. The huge palm landed on their heads, and waves of power entered their bodies. The strongest part of the light and dark Tai Chi is its defense and transfer. The power that falls on the body of the light and dark divine dragon is transferred to the dark divine dragon, and the power that attacks the dark divine dragon is transferred to the body of the light and dark divine dragon. The 2 powers collide and cancel each other out. As long as they don't exceed the limit of the light and dark divine dragon, they won't be injured. Other than that, they can also borrow the other party's attack to fight with strength, borrow strength, and fight with strength. This is the true essence of the light and dark Tai Chi. Wang Xian stared at the 2 divine dragons as he muttered. Following that, his body shook. Break! A loud roar came out from Wang Xian's mouth. Streams of water formed around the 2 divine dragons. The huge palm melted slowly as waves of water energy rotated. Roar! Roar! 2 dragon roars were heard. The light and dark divine dragons carried the water energy around them, and attacked Bingxin Royal Palace directly. Chapter 1590. 1590 dyed the sky red. What? It actually withstood the attack of the defensive formation. Outside the city wall, when everyone saw the water energy palm within a 5-kilometer radius dissipate, their faces revealed an embarrassed expression. Don't be afraid, our imperial city's defensive formation, unless the profound void tier 9 makes a move, otherwise, it will not break. The Ice Heart King looked at the 2 light and dark divine dragons with a gloomy expression. The 3 old men stood on the city wall expressionlessly as they watched coldly. Rumble! The light and dark divine dragons that carried a huge amount of water energy crashed directly into the formation, and a rumbling sound like thunder resounded. The entire imperial city seemed to tremble. Humph! The 3 old ancestors looked at the spot where the light and dark divine dragons crashed and snorted coldly. Although the formation was trembling, there were no cracks at all. With the powerful impact force, it was impossible to break the defensive formation. Sky Demon, if you still can't break it, we will go back to sleep. Bing Jinghuan stared at Wang Xian outside with a ferocious look and said mockingly. Haha. When the crowd heard Bing Jinghuan's words, and saw that there were no cracks in the formation, they laughed out loud. Soon, all of you will be able to rest in peace. Wang Xian's gaze swept across Bing Jinghuan. A hint of a smile, and a hint of fury appeared on his face. Next, prepare to die. Light and darkness ablation. Wang Xian let out a wild roar and waved his arm. A wave of light energy landed on the divine dragon of light. Roar! Roar! The light and darkness instantly lost their balance. The power of the divine dragon of light was slightly stronger than that of the divine dragon of darkness. Only a sliver of power broke through the divine dragon of light and darkness. The 2 powers began to corrode at a terrifying speed. The 2 divine dragons of light and darkness intertwined together, and the corrosive power landed on the defensive formation of the Ice Heart Imperial City. How terrifying was the power of the corrosive power of light and darkness! The soul of darkness entered a person's body. If one wanted to clear the soul of darkness, one had to find a powerful radiant priest to expel it. This was because, in the process of expelling the soul of darkness, the corrosion of light and darkness could instantly kill a person. The power of the corrosion caused by the two extreme energies could erupt with a destructive power that was even more terrifying than that of a single elemental energy. This energy was like the destructive power of the 5 elements that countered each other. Zzz. An ear-piercing sound suddenly rang out. The power of the corrosion of light and darkness landed on the defensive formation and instantly corroded it. In front of this destructive power, a small crack slowly appeared on the array formation. Oh no! He actually sacrificed those 2 level 8 profound void realm energy creatures to break the array formation. When a crack appeared, everyone from the Ice Heart Empire revealed terrified expressions. Attack! Stop him! The white-bearded old man standing in the middle had a drastic change in expression. He waved his arm, and an azure-colored staff appeared in his hand. He pointed the staff forward, and a water pillar that was 1,000 meters long was formed instantly. It charged towards the light and dark divine dragons. Use your strength to fight against strength. Wang Xian waved his arm and caused the 2 light and dark divine dragons to maintain the balance between light and dark. The water pillar that was 10 meters thick charged towards the light and dark divine dragons like a torrent that had opened a floodgate. This force of impact could turn an ordinary insightful void martial artist into a pool of blood. Boom, boom, boom. However, this terrifying force was instead directly transferred to the array formation of the Ice Heart Empire. The cracks on the array hair were even bigger. Not good. The white-bearded elder's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene. Prepare for battle. He hurriedly raised the staff in his hand and roared loudly. What? The array formation is about to be broken? How is this possible? Wasn't it just? Oh my god, not good. The Sky Demon is about to charge in. Don't be afraid. We 3 patriarchs are fighting against 2 opponents. We will definitely win. On the city wall, everyone's expression changed instantly. Their previously calm and even arrogant expressions were filled with fear. Break for me! Wang Xian roared, and the light-dark divine dragon melted rapidly. The corrosive power caused a huge hole in the formation. Following that, the sound of the formation breaking could be heard. The formation was slowly disappearing. Kill! Wang Xian revealed a ghastly expression. He raised his dragon claw and activated the Dragon Kingdom in his palm instantly. Kiki Kiki, the slaughter has begun. The hunchbacked old man took a deep look at Wang Xian and let out a shrill cry. Demonic shadows appeared around him one after another. The demonic shadows appeared one after another. In just 2 seconds, there were over 10,000 of them. Each of the demonic shadows exuded a sinister and terrifying aura. The hunchbacked old man also brought out his true strength. He was extremely dedicated to destroying the Bingxin Empire. He wanted to perform well, so that Wang Xian could help him get rid of the dark soul in his body. Let's fight! Let's fight! All Void Hole Realm experts attack! The instant the formation was broken, Bing Fa Wu's expression changed drastically. They had witnessed the strength of the Sky Demon and the hunchbacked old man. It was definitely not something that the 3 patriarchs could withstand. Only by using all the experts in the entire Bingxin Imperial City would there be hope. No one is allowed to retreat. The Bingxin Empire is in a life-and-death situation. Anyone who disobeys will be killed without mercy. The heart of the king of Bingxin was beating violently as well. He hurriedly ordered loudly, "Yes, kill." At this moment, everyone on the city wall felt their hearts sink when they saw Wang Xian and the hunchbacked old man charging over. Especially when they heard the orders from the patriarchs and the king, their expressions became even more awkward. To ask everyone above the void interpretation realm to make a move, it was obvious that the 3 patriarchs were unable to stop the other party. Roar, roar, the slaughter has begun. Wang Xian raised his head and roared. Dragon head under the heavens. Dragon body of 10,000 miles. Kill. In an instant, Wang Xian released his strongest strength. A terrifying divine dragon that was more than 10 kilometers long appeared in front of the Ice Heart Imperial City in an instant. The divine dragon exuded a terrifying demonic aura. It opened its mouth and spat out a mouthful of dragon flames. It attacked the city directly. Go! Go! The three patriarchs looked at each other with the determined killing intent in their eyes. Boom! The three of them waved their arms. A tsunami-like sound was heard as they attacked the dragon flames that Wuxia spat out. The consequence of provoking our boss devil will be the destruction of the nation. In the sky, over 10,000 stooped old men spat out a line of words in unison. Following that, over 10,000 figures flew towards the inner part of the royal city of Bingxin. Damn it, stop him! The white-bearded patriarch's expression changed drastically when he saw the hunchbacked old man charging towards him. He moved his body and was about to go up to meet them. The three of you stay here. Devil scale chains darkness. Wuxia waved his dragon claw. Terrifying chains extended out from the abyss and blocked the white-bearded patriarch directly. At the same time, the dark energy in the light and darkness enveloped the surroundings. Bastard, how dare you fight 3 against 1? Kill him as soon as possible, and then kill the other one. When the long-haired elder saw that Wuxia wanted to trap the 3 of them here, he roared furiously. Quick, kill him as soon as possible. Chapter 1591. 1591 dyed the world red. The 3 ancestors of the Bingxin dynasty revealed furious expressions. This arrogant sky fiend actually dared to pin down the 3 of them in a 1-on-3 fight. This caused the killing intent in their hearts to soar to the clouds. They looked at each other, their eyes filled with viciousness. Kill, they had to kill him as soon as possible, and then kill the other one. Aspect, Wrath of the Sea God. Aspect, Wrath of the Sea God. Aspect, Wrath of the Sea God. Without any hesitation, the 3 of them unleashed their powerful aspect attacks. 3 identical aspect attacks charged towards Wuxia. Boss devil, if you can't hold on, give me a shout. Outside, I'll help you kill. The hunchbacked old man swept his gaze in the direction of Wuxia. His slightly reddened eyes were staring at the majestic and magnificent city ahead. I will dye the blood of this lake red. 10,000 shades of annihilation. The hunchbacked old man roared. One by one, the demon shadows pounced towards the city wall. Stop him! The king of Bingxin shouted in fear when he saw an expert at level 8 of the see-through realm charging over. Kill! The group of profound void tier 7, 6, and 5 experts looked at the devils, gritting their teeth as they charged over. Facing a profound void tier 8 expert, to them, this was simply courting death. However, at this moment they had no other choice. I hope the forefather and the rest kill that sky devil as soon as possible, otherwise. Everyone stared at the demon shadow, their faces filled with determination. With just a bunch of ants like you. The tens of thousands of demon shadows glanced at the thousands of insightful emptiness realm experts who were attacking them with disdain in their eyes. Then, they reached out with a ferocious claw. Ah! In an instant a miserable cry sounded. Jia jia jia. A sinister and terrifying voice came from the hunchbacked old man's mouth. Only 5,000 of the demon shadows were completely blocked. The other half of the demonic shadows charged straight into the city wall. The bloody demonic shadows waved their demonic claws, attacking indiscriminately. If they met someone, they would directly charge over. A blood-curdling scream instantly resounded throughout the entire Ice Heart Imperial City's city wall. Demonic shadow explosion. Right at this moment, a voice suddenly came from behind. Boom boom boom. To everyone's horror, the tens of thousands of devils suddenly exploded. A terrifying corrosive power of darkness spread out in all directions. Ah, 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 ah. Yet another miserable cry sounded out. Awesome. Come, take another move from me, great son of darkness. All the devils disappeared. In front of the city wall, the hunchbacked old man raised both his hands, and a great sun of darkness slowly appeared above his head. It was a sun that was like the sun. Unlike the sun, the entire sun was filled with violent dark energy. The entire dark sun floated 10,000 meters high in the sky, with a diameter of 5 to 6 kilometers. Enjoy the darkness. The hunchbacked old man excitedly ran directly into the Ice Heart Imperial City. Oh my God! They are too terrifying. What can we use to defend against them? At this moment, on the city walls and within the city walls, everyone's faces were filled with terror as they stared at the terrifying great sun. The great dark sun was like a meteorite as it descended towards the inner regions of the Bingxin Imperial City. Jing Huan, hurry up and escape to the lone sect. The Bingxin king stared at Bing Jing Huan by the side as he shouted anxiously, Father, let's leave together. Bing Jing Huan's face was filled with fear as he exclaimed, How can I leave? This is the root of our Ice Heart Empire. I'm the king here, I can't leave. The Ice Heart King gritted his teeth as he stared at the great dark sun that was charging over. A few 7th-level profound void martial experts tried to resist, but they were directly melted by the great dark sunday, hitting a rock with an egg. With their strength, they were simply hitting a rock with an egg. Boom! The great dark sun descended, and the city walls were like paper directly shattering. Wang! The moment it descended, the great dark sun directly exploded. The area of the great dark sun's radiation had reached a radius of dozens of kilometers. At this moment, a radius of dozens of kilometers fell into darkness. The terrifying dark energy made millions of people scream in pain. One move had caused rivers of blood to flow, and one move had destroyed 1/5 of the entire Ice Heart Imperial City. One move had only allowed a few rank 7 and rank 6 profound void martial artists to escape the range of the great dark sun's attack. Panic and death instantly covered the entire Ice Heart Imperial City. Just what kind of existence has our Icy Heart Empire provoked? The Sky Demon once destroyed millions of lives in the ancient demon city. Today, is he going to destroy tens of millions of lives in our Icy Heart Imperial City? Behind the main cities, tens of millions of people watched this world-destroying attack as their bodies trembled. Only at this moment did they realize that they were no different from ants. Kiki, this move feels so good. Everyone in the Ice Heart Imperial City kneel down. Otherwise, we don't mind destroying the city. The evil aura of the hunchbacked old man spread out in all directions. The surrounding demon snakes were useless. A 10-meter-wide dark sun stood behind them. He ordered the tens of millions of people in the Ice Heart Imperial City. Hearing the stooped old man's words, everyone looked extremely embarrassed. They looked at the place in the sky that was covered in darkness. There, the horrifying battle and the impact formed a huge mushroom cloud in the sky. The 3 ancestors of the Bingxin dynasty were still inside, but they hadn't come out yet. The dozens of experts of the Bingxin dynasty, who were hiding from the great dark sun near the city wall, looked at the stooped old man in fear. Kiki, I like your hesitation. The hunchbacked old man saw everyone standing there in a daze. He didn't hesitate at all. He waved his arm and unleashed terrifying attacks towards the Imperial City. He didn't show any mercy at all. In terms of means, even Wang Xian couldn't compare to the hunchbacked old man. Let's kneel. Don't kill us. It has nothing to do with us. No. One attack after another. At least hundreds of thousands of people died at the hands of the hunchbacked old man. His cruel means terrified everyone. In the entire Imperial City, tens of millions of people were kneeling on the ground. Some were praying loudly while others were crying. At the side, the 3 insightful void martial artists and the group of level 6 insightful void martial artists standing beside the king of Bingxin were trembling. King, should we also kneel? A level 6 insightful void martial artist asked in fear. Do you think that the Sky Demon will let us go if we kneel? The Bingxin king said with a slight tremble. His face was full of regret. How could he have thought that the Saint Prince of Light, who looked kind, would be the extremely cruel Sky Demon? He swept his gaze across his surroundings. Fresh blood gathered and flowed into the Ice Heart Lake in front of him. Especially in front of him, the river water had already been dyed red by millions of fresh blood. The river water reflected into the sky and dyed the entire sky red. It was like the end of the world. Chapter 1592. 1592 The destruction of the Ice Heart Empire. With the character of the Sky Devil, would he let us off if he kneeled? The words of the Ice Heart King caused a look of despair to appear in the eyes of the Type 7 and Type 6 insightful Void Realm experts. They looked at the center of the mushroom cloud that covered an area of over 10 kilometers. Energy surged, but there was still no victor. It had been nearly 10 minutes. The three of them had besieged a Sky Devil, but they still could not take him down. Then why did we provoke him in the first place? A rank 7 insightful Void Realm expert gritted his teeth and growled weakly. If we knew that Priest Wang was a Sky Devil, would we have provoked him? Bingxing King turned to look at the old man beside him expressionlessly and said calmly, "The mistake is that we should not betray others for the sake of obtaining greater benefits." As he spoke, a bitter smile and despair appeared on his face. At this moment, he understood very clearly that if they hadn't been ungrateful, the Bingxing dynasty wouldn't have been destroyed. "Kiki, it's a little too late to understand now." The stooped old man looked over, his eyes filled with disdain. His figure moved, and the devil hands behind him enveloped the group of the king of Bingxing Kingdom. "I'm not satisfied. Why did you make a mistake? Let us take the blame." An expert at the 6th rank of the profound void martial stage shouted with a face full of unwillingness. However, facing the full-strength attack of the hunchbacked old man, they didn't have the strength to resist. In fact, at this moment, the Ice Heart King and several experts at the 7th rank of the profound void martial stage had already given up on resisting. Poo poo poo. The sound of tearing could be heard, and it was exceptionally clear in the entire silent city. All the people kneeling on the ground looked up and saw their king and their emperor's body being brutally torn apart. The Ice Heart Empire was finished. The rest of you don't have to worry. No matter how cruel Boss Devil and I are, it's impossible for us to destroy tens of millions of lives. However, the Ice Heart Empire's royal family must die. Kiki. As the hunchbacked old man spoke, he waved his arm, and the pulsing ball of blood instantly flew in front of him. Through the ball of blood, he was able to sense every single member of the Ice Heart Empire's royal family. TSK, there are still a few who aren't dead. His figure flashed, and he instantly appeared in the sky above the ruins within the city. He waved his arm. Rumble. A group of figures appeared in his line of sight. More than 20 young men were enveloped in a formation, dodging the attacks of the Great Dark Sunday. 10 of the young men had pale faces as they looked at the hunchbacked old man with despair. "Don't kill me, don't kill me." Seeing the hunchbacked old man staring at them with a smile on his face, they shouted in terror. "Senior." The other 10 or so young men in golden clothing looked at the old man with respect in their eyes. They immediately bowed their hands, and a young man in the middle spoke. "Kneel down and tell me. I'll give you 2 seconds." The old man glanced at them mockingly and said faintly. The 10 or so young men in golden clothing were slightly stunned, and a hint of displeasure flashed in the eyes of the young man in the lead. "Senior, I am." He cupped his hands once again. "Kiki, you are all ants." The hunchbacked old man waved his arm, and a terrifying energy directly attacked downwards. "No, Senior, we are the Southern Emperor." "Ka-ka." The group of young men hurriedly shouted with faces full of fear, but before they could finish their words, the dark energy directly descended, instantly killing them. "Southern Emperor FUCK." The hunchbacked old man muttered as the dark flames in his eyes flashed past. Kiki, continue. "After I kill all of you, I'll kill those 3 old things." The hunchbacked old man moved. In less than a second, the entire city was filled with endless screams. Everyone knelt on the ground, shivering as they listened to the screams around them. "Boss Devil, let me help you. Kill the last 3 old things. I've already killed the rest of the members of the Ice Heart Dynasty's royal family." "How was it, Boss Devil? My performance wasn't bad, right?" The hunchbacked old man shouted as the demonic chi on his body slowly rose. In a short 2 seconds, his entire body turned into a 1,000-meter-wide dark demon. His figure directly charged into the enormous mushroom cloud. At this moment, the three patriarchs of the Ice Heart dynasty inside the mushroom cloud heard his voice, and their bodies trembled violently. You actually exterminated all of us from the Ice Clan. When the three patriarchs heard this news, they were extremely shocked. The Ice Clan, an entire Ice Clan. For the sake of their entire clan, all of their clansmen had worked hard for tens of thousands of years to establish the current Ice Heart dynasty. However, all of them had been annihilated. Boom! Just as their hearts were burning with fury, and they did not dare to accept it, a terrifying demonic shadow directly attacked them. Pooh! The long-haired old man was struck by the black shadow and instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. We are not their match. Ice Faceless shouted with a face full of terror. At first, they thought that they could easily kill the Sky Demon by fighting 3 against 1. However, when they started fighting, they finally understood what fear was. The Sky Demon had turned into a terrifying dark creature. When their destructive attacks landed on the opponent immediately turned into a light creature. However, with a heal, all the injuries on their bodies were healed, and they turned into dark creatures to fight with them. This was fucking cheating. In the 10 minutes of fighting, the other party was not injured at all. On the contrary, every one of them was wounded. Now, another hunchbacked elder who was much stronger than them had come. Fa Wu, we will hold them off. You go to the lone cult immediately, and preserve the roots of the Ice Heart dynasty. In the future, we must take revenge. We must kill them, their families, and all of them. The white-bearded old man's eyes were bloodshot as he shouted at Bing Fa Wu. Big brother, I'll leave it to you. We'll hold them off for you. The long-haired old man's face was filled with despair. Kill them. The 2 patriarchs of the Bingxin dynasty charged at Wang Xian, and the stooped old man with all their might. Are you desperate? The stooped old man showed a look of disdain. Then go to hell. How does it feel to provoke our boss demon? TSK. He roared with a heart-wrenching voice. The demon figure wrapped around his body opened its terrifying fangs and lunged at the long-haired old man. Like a demon, it devoured humans. Don't worry. You will all die. It's just a matter of time. Wang Xian watched as the white-bearded elder charged at Bing Fa Wu with all his might to let him escape. There was no change in his expression. If I don't take revenge, I, Bing Fa Wu, will not be a human. I will return the favor with a sea of blood. Bing Fa Wu roared with bloodshot eyes. As he spoke, he fled into the distance while trembling. Hee. Wang Xian smiled disdainfully. His dragon claws crushed the white-bearded elder directly. There will no longer be an Ice Heart dynasty in this world. He stared at the Ice Fa Wu, who was trying his best to escape dozens of kilometers away, and roared coldly. His voice spread throughout the entire world. Chapter 1593. 1593. The destruction of the Ice Heart dynasty. There will be no more Ice Heart dynasty in this world. In the Ice Heart Imperial City, everyone looked at the 2 black shadows in the sky. Their hearts were filled with shock and fear. The Ice Heart dynasty, which had stood for 10,000 years, had fallen just like that. It had fallen at the hands of a young man. It was all because of a woman. Everyone in the Bingxin Empire was in a daze. The smell of blood permeated the entire city, and countless corpses lay on the ground. The Bingxin Lake was like blood, and the sky was like blood. Gather all the resources in the Bingxin Imperial City and leave. Wang Xian returned to his human form. In order to balance the light and darkness, his body emitted a faint aura of light. His holy appearance made him look like a saint who was not from the mortal world. Even a glance at him would make one feel extremely comfortable. However, it was this kind of person who had just destroyed an entire first-rate strength and a powerful empire. It's Boss Devil. The stooped old man looked at Wang Xian's appearance and felt slightly uncomfortable. He nodded immediately and flew towards the royal palace of the Bingxin Empire. Wang Xian waved his arm, and all the corpses on the ground were stored into his interspatial ring. It was impossible for him to not want the resources of a first-rate force after destroying it. He could even increase the strength of the entire dragon palace by relying on this resource. Half an hour later, Wang Xian and the hunchbacked old man left the royal palace of Bingxin. At this moment, the rest of the people in the royal palace of Bingxin dared to stand up. They looked at the two disappearing figures with fear on their faces. However, at that moment, the news of the Ice Heart Empire's destruction immediately spread throughout the vast region. Especially in the Divine Kingdom ruins, everyone was in an uproar. A Skyfiend destroyed a first-rate faction. This is simply unbelievable. Even if a Skyfiend killed the Supreme Elder of the Lone Sect and destroyed the Ice Heart Empire, it is still shocking. As expected of the Sky Demon, the Eternal Bingxin Empire is not a Sky Demon. The Bingxin Empire lost its 10,000-year foundation because of a woman. How ironic. They might have thought that Priest Wang was easy to bully. In the end, they didn't expect him to be a Sky Demon. TSK, he brought this upon himself. In the entire ruins of the Divine Kingdom, everyone was discussing the matter of Wang Xian destroying the Bingxin Empire. As for the powerful faction, they were thinking more. The Bingxin Empire's strength was not considered weak among first-rate factions. Even so, it was still destroyed. Even the Imperial City was destroyed. One could imagine the strength of the Sky Demon. It was not an exaggeration to say that the Sky Demon's strength alone was comparable to a first-rate faction. If Skyfiend can survive, it will truly shock the entire vast region. Everyone thought to themselves. Skyfiend had destroyed the Ice Heart Empire, destroyed the Solway sect's base in the Divine Kingdom ruins, and killed the Grand Elder and a group of core disciples and elders. This was a huge provocation to the Solway sect. This time, even the Solway sect's supreme sect leader and the Solway sect's ancestor would take action. It was hard to say if the Skyfiend would be able to survive this. It has been more than 10,000 years. No one has dared to provoke our Solitaire sect, right? At that moment, in the Solitaire peak of the vast Solitaire Mountains, an elder was sitting in the hall with an expressionless face. The Solitaire Mountains were formed from a total of 108 green mountains that were 10,000 meters tall. Every mountain peak was majestic and magnificent. In particular, the supreme mountain peak in the middle was like a giant between heaven and earth, looking down on the entire land. In the grand hall of the supreme mountain peak, more than 100 people stood in the hall. At this moment, the atmosphere in the hall was somewhat solemn. The voice of the old man sitting at the top, which didn't have the slightest bit of emotion, caused everyone's hearts to tremble. It has been 11,231 years since someone dared to provoke us like this. Below, an old man with a head full of white hair said faintly, 11,231 years ago, what was the outcome of provoking us? At that time we didn't even exist. However, I really want to know the outcome of that faction. The old man at the very top slowly asked. If I remember correctly, they implicated the 9 clans. Anything related to them should all be exterminated. The white-haired elder below said slowly. Then we will follow the actions of our ancestors. We cannot lose the face of our ancestors. The elder at the top said slowly. Supreme Sect Master, we have already obtained all the information about the Heavenly Devil King's priest. He comes from the Flowing Sea region, and the current largest faction in the Flowing Sea region has a great relationship with him. The most outstanding young man in the He clan now has a very good relationship with him, and Bing Jianer, a middle-aged man beside him, stood out and said with a frown, announce to the world that in 7 days, Ao Tian and Bing Jian will hold a wedding and invite all the forces to come. If that Sky Demon appears, kill him on the spot. If he doesn't appear, kill He Yuan of the He clan. After that, I will personally head to the Flowing Sea region and pay tribute to the disciples of our Supreme Headmaster with billions of lives. The elder at the front was naturally the supreme sect leader of the sect. He announced to everyone with an expressionless face. Upon hearing the supreme sect leader's announcement, the more than 100 experts of the sect were not surprised. It's the supreme sect leader. Everyone cupped their hands respectfully. When the Sky Demon dared to destroy the base in the ruins of their divine kingdom, when the Sky Demon dared to kill the disciples of the sect, his fate, as well as the fate of everyone around him, had already been decided. This was the truth, this was order. The order of the solipsistic sect. No one was angry, no one was furious. There was always someone who wanted to die. Whether it was Pastor Wang or the Sky Demon, in the eyes of the solipsistic sect, it was the same. Dead people. Reporting to the Supreme Sect Master, the patriarch of the Bingxin dynasty is here. At this moment, a middle-aged man came in and reported loudly. There are still people alive in the Bingxin dynasty? Let him in. The Supreme Leader said lightly. Supreme Leader, you have to make a decision for the Bingxin dynasty. A sorrowful voice was heard. Bing Fa Wu brought Bing Jinghuan to the hall, and said with a sorrowful face. Bing Jinghuan escaped in advance, and was met by Bing Fa Wu along the way. We have already learned about what happened in your Bingxin dynasty. It's just right. In 7 days, you will attend as Bing Jianyar's family. As for your Bingxin dynasty, in the future, our only sect will help you reclaim your city and ensure your safety for 5,000 years. The Supreme Headmaster said indifferently. Bing Fa Wu and Bing Jing were slightly stunned. Then their expressions became much better. They quickly bowed and said, Thank you, Supreme Headmaster. All right, let's go. The Supreme Headmaster waved his hand at everyone. Yes. Everyone immediately left. The Supreme Headmaster sat at the top and looked at the information in front of him. If it wasn't for the existence of the holy tree in the He clan, this matter would be enough to exterminate the entire He clan. His mumbling voice rang out, and his figure instantly disappeared from his seat. The tyranny of the solipsistic sect was so terrifying. Chapter 1594. 1594 was the most powerful. Latest news. In the Bingxin royal city, the Sky Demon is fighting 3 rank, 8 insightful void martial artists. The hunchbacked old man beside him killed all the members of the royal family by himself. It is said that only one ancestor, and the 9th prince survived. The bloodline of the royal family almost ended. The only sect should have received the news by now. I wonder how the only sect will react. Will a top-tier void interpretation level 9 powerhouse take action directly? They will definitely take action. No one has dared to provoke the only sect like this for tens of thousands of years. This time a grand elder has died. The only sect will definitely not let the matter rest. In the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, after everyone was shocked by the destruction of the Iceheart Empire and the powerful Sky Fiend, they immediately discussed the lone faction. This incident was not only related to the Sky Fiend and Iceheart Empire, it was also related to the lone faction, one of the 3 superpowers in the vast region. For such a powerful faction that had been established for tens of thousands of years, it was impossible for a base to be destroyed and a disciple to be killed so easily. Especially since the other party was the most domineering of the 3 super factions, the solipsistic sect. In heaven and on earth, the solipsistic sect ruled supreme. This was the slogan and banner of the solipsistic sect. Boss Devil, these are all the treasures in the Iceheart Empire. Also, this interspatial ring is mine. Everything in it is my property. Look, can you expel the darkness soul from my body? At this moment, on the 5th floor of a manor in the ruins of the Kingdom of God, Wang Xian sat there quietly. The hunchbacked old man beside him was fawning over him with a smile on his face. He kept rubbing his hands and looked at Wang Xian nervously. Are you sure you won't kill me after I get rid of the dark soul in your body? Wang Xian looked at the hunchbacked old man and said faintly. Although he hadn't spent much time with the hunchbacked old man, Wang Xian had some understanding of him. This old man was definitely not a good person in the past. It wasn't an exaggeration to call him a devil. He killed millions of people, without even blinking an eye. Even Wang Xian couldn't do it. Moreover, the means of the bloodline was abnormally cruel. Although the hunchbacked old man had atoned for his sins, he couldn't guarantee that he wouldn't attack him after he cured the other party. After all, the old man had suffered a lot during this period of time. Furthermore, Wang Xian could vaguely guess the old man's previous realm. He wasn't his match. How could you, boss demon? I'm not a despicable person like the Ice Heart Empire. I will never repay kindness with enmity. The old man said hurriedly. Do you think I will believe you? When my strength breaks through or I find a way, I will help you expel the darkness soul in your body. Wang Xian looked at him indifferently and said directly. This. The stooped old man's face fell immediately. He was a little embarrassed. Little brother Wang Xian, something bad has happened. At this moment, sect leader Ling's anxious voice was heard. There's news about Jian. When Wang Xian saw sect leader Ling walking over anxiously, he stood up with a slightly nervous expression and stared at him. There's news from our sect. Sect leader Ling said with a slightly embarrassed expression. What news? Wang Xian asked quickly. 7 days later, our sect invited all the forces in the vast region to attend Ao Tian and Jian's wedding. Sect leader Ling's face was gloomy as he said weakly to Wang Xian. This is the only news. Wang Xian's face turned ugly as his eyes flashed with killing intent. This is the only news. Our sect is only releasing this news. Sect Master Ling said with a bitter face. Wang Xian had destroyed many disciples of our sect. However, our sect was only announcing this news. Facing the threat from Wang Xian and the Sky Demon, who had destroyed the Bingxin Empire, they completely ignored it and didn't take it seriously at all. They didn't fly into a rage. Instead, they announced the wedding between Ao Tian and Jian first. This silent attitude showed the dominance of the Solitaire sect. As for what the Solitaire sect would do next, it would probably be carried out after the wedding. The rules were orderly and unhurried. It was disregard and contempt. The position of the great sect was fully displayed. I have to force Jian, or to marry someone else. Wang Xian held his arm tightly as a crazy killing intent shot out from his eyes. The wedding ceremony will be held at the Yingtian peak of the sect. At the base of the sect, Sect leader Ling's face was filled with helplessness. Even with Wang Xian's strength and the might of the Sky Demon, he wouldn't be able to walk out of the place where the sect was established. Not to mention Wang Xian, even the other two superpowers didn't dare to bring their men to attack that place directly. That was the place where a superpower had been established for tens of thousands of years. The danger was unimaginable. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to rescue Ling Jian from there. Phew! Wang Xian exhaled heavily as an icy cold aura emanated from his body. Let me prepare for this matter. Even if I can't bring Jian back, she won't be harmed in any way. Wang Xian assured sect leader Ling. Little brother Wang Xian, don't be rash. Sect leader Ling saw Wang Xian's determined expression, and his expression changed slightly. He quickly said, Don't worry, I will do as I wish. Wang Xian shook his head as a hint of madness flashed in his eyes. This? Sect leader Ling looked at him, nodded his head, and left with a heavy heart. Wang Xian turned around and looked at the hunchbacked old man. Boss devil, with my current strength, it's a dead end for me to go to our sect. Unless you get rid of the dark soul in my body. At that time, with my strength, our sect will be afraid of you. At that time we will threaten you together. Only our sect will return Miss Ling Jian safely to you. The old man saw Wang Xian staring at him. His eyes sparkled as he said hurriedly. Sure. Wang Xian nodded his head. Really? A hint of excitement flashed across the old man's eyes as he stared at Wang Xian with anticipation. I want to make a complete preparation. Wang Xian stared at the stooped old man and revealed a smile on his face. Looking at his strange smile, the stooped old man actually had a bad premonition. What kind of preparation? The stooped old man looked at him with some hesitation and asked. Of course, it's to be prepared for certain death. Wang Xian smiled. His smile was filled with viciousness. Since the solipsistic sect was so arrogant, they didn't put him in their eyes at all. Since they didn't put his threat in their eyes, then let them take him seriously and suffer a little. Death was the thing that everyone in this world feared the most. However, to Wang Xian, death wasn't scary. He had died once, but he could die a second time. risking his life. If that was not possible, then he would go crazy. Chapter 1595. 1595. If he didn't go crazy, he wouldn't be able to survive. You, boss devil, are you crazy? Are you confident that you will die? This. When the old man heard Wang Xian's words, he felt as though he had a million curses in his heart. Confident that he would die. There was actually someone who was confident that he would die. What the fuck? Was there something wrong with his brain? He was a lunatic. The old man's face was extremely dark as he stared at Wang Xian. His heart was filled with anger, but he didn't dare to get angry. You should be prepared for certain death. I don't want to die. Don't worry, I won't let you die. You are still useful. Wang Xian looked at the stooped old man's uncertain expression and revealed a faint smile. Anyone who heard Wang Xian's words would feel crazy. However, if one didn't go crazy, one wouldn't be able to survive. It's not certain if you will die. What if you survive? Wang Xian smiled as his eyes sparkled. With a move of his palm, a bright ball of light appeared in his hand. The ball of light contained extremely terrifying spiritual energy. Myriad Origin Spirit, Level 1 Longevity. The spiritual energy contained in it was equivalent to Level 1 longevity. This treasure was found in the land of formations of the Bingxin Empire. All the formations in the Bingxin Imperial City relied on this Myriad Origin Spirit to provide energy. Exchange for a violent blood pill. Wang Xian checked the treasury in the system, and a violent blood pill appeared in his hand. Violent blood pill. Level 8 Void Interpretation. By burning his flesh and blood, he could unleash a combat strength that exceeded his own strength. With the current resources in Wang Xian's hands, it was not enough to increase his strength. In that case, he could only use another way to increase his strength. Wang Xian rarely used the treasury in the system, because the items that he needed to exchange for were too high in dragon energy. It was not worth it. The core of the Invincible Divine Dragon Nurturing System was the word nurture. The path of invincibility required one to be grounded. By relying on the various functions of the system, one was destined to not be able to stand at the peak. However, there were some items that Wang Xian still needed to exchange for. Next, I will expel the dark soul in your body. Wang Xian looked at the two items in his hands and said to the hunchbacked old man, Boss demon, why do I have a bad feeling? The stooped old man looked at Wang Xian and gulped. Don't be afraid. Don't worry. I won't hurt you. I still need to rely on your strength to save Jianer. However, I can't trust you. Therefore, I can only use another method to restrain you. After the deed is done, I will let you leave and I won't restrain you. Do you agree or not? Wang Xian asked the hunchbacked old man. Do I have any other choice? The hunchbacked old man said with a dark face when he heard Wang Xian's words. No. Wang Xian smiled. He moved his palm slightly and slowly grabbed towards his chest. What are you? Madman, what are you doing? What the fuck? When the old man saw Wang Xian directly grabbing towards his heart with his arm, he revealed an astonished expression. He widened his eyes and stared at Wang Xian in disbelief. It's alright, don't worry. Wang Xian smiled. Under the old man's fucking gaze, he took out a heart of light and darkness. This is the reason why you can use light and darkness? Although the stooped old man was in shock when he saw the beating heart of darkness, the abyss-like darkness, and the holy hall-like light made him widen his eyes and tremble. That's right, this is my heart of light and darkness. Come, I'll lend you my heart. Wang Xian placed the Myriad Origin Spirit in his hand at the location of his heart. In an instant, waves of powerful spiritual energy filled his entire body. It made him feel that his entire body was filled with strength. The wound on his chest was slowly healing. The heart of light and darkness was beating in his hand. Lend me your heart. Gulp. The stooped old man was completely dumbfounded. He had lived for more than 3,000 years, but this was the first time he had encountered such a strange and crazy thing. He directly dug out his own heart and lent it to me. This was still the world he knew in the past. The heart of light and darkness can replace your heart. It can expel the soul of darkness in your body. It is also a way for me to restrain you. Wang Xian said to the old man and slowly stretched out his arm. Come, give me your heart. Damn it, damn it. The hunchbacked old man's forehead was filled with cold sweat when he saw Wang Xian's crazed look. The heart and the head were vital parts to a void interpretation stage powerhouse. Only a longevity stage powerhouse whose head was still intact after his heart was blown off could survive. Now, Wang Xian wanted him to take out his heart? That was too crazy. Don't worry, if I wanted you to die, you would have died a long time ago. Wang Xian moved his palm slightly, and the aura of the hunchbacked old man changed instantly. The suppressed darkness soul started to riot again. All right. I agree. Sensing the riot of the darkness soul in his body, he shouted hurriedly. He was the fish and others were the butcher. He had no choice but to agree. Boss Missouri, be gentle. I don't want to die yet. The stooped old man closed his eyes as if he was about to be raped. Wang Xian smiled. He moved his arm and grabbed at the stooped old man's heart. The stooped old man trembled and didn't dare to move. Poochie! Wang Xian grabbed the stooped old man's heart directly. At the same time, he placed the heart of light and darkness on the stooped old man's heart. Following that, he moved his arm and waves of green dragon energy wrapped around the stooped old man's heart and threw it into the storage spiritual bag. Then, he threw the light and dark dragon balls into the old man's body. Hiss! Boom! The old man sucked in a breath of cold air. Then, a terrifying aura spread out from his body. The soul of darkness hidden in his body revealed a terrified expression the moment the heart of light and darkness entered his body. The dark dragon balls directly swallowed it. His injuries recovered and his aura rose. The stooped old man suddenly opened his eyes, and a black light shot out from his turbid eyes. The black light landed in front of him, and half of the room instantly melted. Jia. I, Mo Sha, have returned. Jia. As he felt the terrifying demonic power circulating within his body, a ferocious expression appeared on his face. He felt that the current him was even more terrifying than when he was at his peak. Wang Xian, feel my current strength. Is it? Ah! He turned his head and stared at Wang Xian as he spoke with an unruly expression. However, before he could finish his sentence, an extremely pained expression appeared on his face. This pained expression was akin to 1,000 demons devouring one's heart. Stop acting tough. Your heart is in my hands. Furthermore, the heart in your body is mine. With just a thought from me you will die. Wang Xian said faintly to him. Yes. I couldn't help but want to act tough. Boss Missouri, please don't blame me. The hunchbacked old man quickly gave in. He knew that he had gotten carried away. Chapter 1596. 1596 could not survive without going crazy. My heart is with you now. Don't have any thoughts. Even if I die this time, you won't be able to take over my heart. Moreover, even if I die this time, it won't be long before I come back to life. Your heart is in my hands. I will give it to one of my subordinates. My subordinate will tell you what you will do after I die. This time, you must bring Jianer back no matter what. After this is over, I will set you free. Wang Xian reminded the hunchbacked old man. This was also a warning to him. Come back from the dead. The hunchbacked old man was slightly shocked when he heard Wang Xian's words. To come back from the dead, and come back from the dead with a drop of blood, was an ability that only gods could achieve. He could do it. However, when he thought of the strange heart of light and darkness, he pursed his lips. You won't use this heart to possess me, right? The old man asked with some worry in his heart. Now, he was really afraid of the strange Wang Xian. From the bottom of his heart, he was afraid. Wang Xian was a little speechless when he heard his words. With a dark face he asked, with your appearance would I possess you? That's good. The hunchbacked old man smiled. He was now a fish and had no strength to resist. No matter what happened, he could only accept it. Furthermore, he knew a little about Wang Xian. It seemed that he was much kinder than he was in the past. You should get used to your own strength. 7 days later, we will make a big fuss and see who is the ruler of this world. A devilish smile appeared on Wang Xian's face. Good. Don't worry, Boss Missouri. I will let them know that I, Mo Sha, have returned. The stooped old man's original name was Mo Sha. He looked at Wang Xian with an arrogant expression. His eyes were filled with wildness. He was like a demon that had just come out of its cage. Wang Xian smiled and waved at him. Mo Sha walked out obediently. My only sect hopes that Jian will not be harmed in any way. Wang Xian sat at the side and muttered to himself. This time, Wang Xian had already made his final plan. The worst outcome would be death. However, if he really died, my only sect would not have an easy time either. After his death, the Heart of Light and Darkness and the Light and Darkness Dragon Pearl were placed in Mo Sha. With Mo Sha's talent and current strength, if he didn't want to die, it would be very difficult for him to die in the vast area. He had to sacrifice himself to save Ling Jianier. Then, he would use the energy he obtained from the Bingxin Empire to resurrect her. Only my sect. I hope it doesn't come to this. Otherwise, I will let your sect's millions of people die without a burial ground. Wang Xian slowly closed his eyes. With the removal of the Heart of Light and Darkness, he was no longer able to use the powers of darkness and light. However, the 5 elements were not affected by light and darkness. He could use them without restraint. Having mastered the 5 elements perfectly, he was more powerful in battle than light and darkness. He sat there quietly and familiarized himself with the 5 elements and the 10,000 origin spirit at the location of the heart. Time slowly passed by. However, at this moment, the announcement made by Lone Faction caused a huge uproar in the entire vast region. I really didn't expect Lone Faction to be so calm. They didn't send anyone to kill the Sky Demon directly, nor did they say anything harsh. Instead, they are holding a wedding banquet 7 days later. This is Lone Faction's contempt for the Sky Demon. They don't put the Sky Demon in their eyes at all. But I keep feeling that this is the calm before the storm. The absolute calm before the storm. Lone Sect directly announced that Bing Jian'er and young Master Aotian are going to hold a wedding. This is humiliating Sky Demon. Not only that, after this wedding, Lone Sect should make a move. The more this is the case, the more I feel that Lone Sect is terrifying. For this wedding, Lone Sect has invited all the second-rate and first-rate forces in the world. Something big will definitely happen. In the past few days, everyone was talking about the solipsistic sect and the Sky Demon. Everyone was also guessing what the solipsistic sect would do next. 7 days was not a long time. On the 4th day, all the first-rate and second-rate forces that came from a vast area of over 1,000,000 kilometers rushed towards the solipsistic sect. It would take at least a day and a half to fly from the ruins of the Divine Kingdom to the solipsistic sect. On the 5th day, Wang Xian walked out of the manor. There was no one beside him. He wore a crown on his head and walked straight in the direction of the Lone Sect. On the crown, there were 5 elemental dragon beads inlaid. At this moment, Wang Xian's appearance was exactly the same as when he was in the Flowing Sea region. There was no light or darkness. Oh my God, that's the Sky Demon. It's him. He actually walked out in such a grand manner. Is he going there? The direction he's heading to is the only sect. Oh my God, why is he going there alone? Is he sending himself to his death? When everyone in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom saw Wang Xian swaggering out, they were shocked. At this moment he still dared to swagger out. Furthermore, looking at the direction he was heading towards, it was the Lone Sect. What was he trying to do? Go to the Lone Sect. Was he seeking his own death? Everyone's eyes flickered with extreme shock. Very soon, the news of the Sky Demon flying alone towards the Lone Sect spread throughout the entire ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Those forces that had been paying attention to the news of the Sky Demon revealed astonished expressions on their faces. What was he trying to do? to barge into the lone tyrant sect. Hee. Wang Xian flew into the sky and smiled faintly as he felt the gazes from everyone. Mo Sha did not follow beside him. Instead, he headed towards the lone tyrant sect in advance. He rushed to the lone tyrant sect in advance to observe the terrain and make all the necessary preparations. There were only 2 experts at level 9 of the see-through realm in the entire sect. One of them was the supreme leader of the sect. The other one was the one who had not appeared for a long time. As he strolled in the void, he flew towards the sect unhurriedly. On the way, when someone saw Wang Xian, they looked as if they had seen a ghost and fled in fear. Wang Xian ignored them and flew alone. On the morning of the 7th day, all the major forces in the vast region rushed over from the 10810,000 meter tall Mount Solitaire. In front of Yingtian Peak, festive lanterns were hung high up, and there were all kinds of flowers. It made the entire mountain peak extremely beautiful. In the cave at the corner of the mountain peak, festive red filled the room. Ling Jian'er, who was dressed in festive attire, sat there stiffly. At the side, young Master Aotian and Bing Fa Bing Jinghuan were standing behind. I heard that the Sky Demon is here. When we hold our wedding later, let's use fresh blood to decorate it. Red festive. Chapter 1597. 1597 Dominance and Madness 1. Fresh blood red festive. In the festive room, young Master Aotian said to Ling Jian, with a smile on his face. When he heard that Priest Wang was a sky demon, he was shocked for a very long time. He never expected that after he left, all the people of their sect in the Divine Kingdom ruins would be killed. Even the Grand Elder was killed by the Sky Demon. A terrifying powerhouse who was not even 30 years old. A powerhouse who could destroy the entire dynasty by himself. Even he felt his scalp go numb. Fortunately, he had the lone sect as his backer, and he had his father. Young Lord Aotian, I hope that the lone sect can hand over the Sky Demon's corpse to us. We want to use his corpse to pay tribute to the millions of spirits of our ice race in the sky. Beside him, Bing Fa Wu clenched his fists tightly as he growled in a low voice. His eyes were filled with deep hatred. In fact, his eyes were filled with endless hatred when he looked at Bing Jian'er. However, now that Bing Jian'er was going to marry young Master Aotian, he hid this hatred very well. No problem. Young Master Aotian smiled at Bing Fa Wu and Bing Jinghuan. Not only Sky Demon, all his friends, and even the entire Luhai region will be buried with him. Hee. Bing Fa Wu was stunned for a moment before a cruel smile appeared on her face. Ling Jian'er, who was sitting in front of the dressing table, was filled with anger. However, her body was being controlled, and she could not speak. Time is about to start. Senior Bing Fa Wu, little brother Bing Jinghuan, let's go out and welcome the guests. Aotian said to them as he walked out with a smile. Bing Fa Wu and Bing Jinghuan nodded and followed behind him. One of them was the groom while the other was the relative of the bride. Naturally, they had to greet the guests. Congratulations, young Master Aotian. Congratulations, young Master Aotian. Congratulations. Aotian and the other 2 arrived in front of Yingtian Peak. At this moment, there were more than 100,000 people gathered in the huge square. All the powerful forces in the entire vast region had arrived. The Southern Royal Family, the Wuxia Empire, and the 8 first-rate forces were all present. All of them were rushing over. Seeing young Master Aotian walking out, all the experts from the forces immediately greeted him with smiles on their faces. Hee. Young Master Aotian smiled and nodded to each of the forces. Young Master Aotian, our 9 Lotus sect has received news that the Sky Demon seems to be rushing over. An expert from a first-rate force walked over and said in a soft voice. Hee. Thank you for your reminder, 9 Lotus sect. Young Master Aotian smiled faintly. No need, no need. The people from the 9 Lotus sect immediately smiled and shook their heads. Congratulations to the 2 from the Bingxin Empire. At this moment, a mocking voice suddenly sounded. Bing Fa Wu and Bing Jinghuan, who were greeting the various forces behind young Master Aotian, instantly became embarrassed. They looked forward and saw Wu Qingcheng looking at them with a mocking expression. "Wu Qingcheng, just congratulate me." Aotian looked forward and said with a smile, "Hee, marrying a daughter-in-law is such a huge loss. There is nothing to congratulate." Wu Qingcheng did not give Aotian much face and said lightly, "Wu Qingcheng, I know that the Sky Demon has done you a favor, but so what? I will let you see his body soon and mourn for him." Aotian's face turned cold when he heard Wu Qingcheng's words. Humph! Wu Qingcheng's face also turned ugly as he watched Aotian walk forward. "Qingcheng, only our sect and priest Wang are fighting to the death. We can't help you with this matter, or it will cause a war between the two forces." An elder at the side said slowly to Wu Qingcheng. "I know." Wu Qingcheng nodded with a gloomy face. "Now I hope Priest Wang doesn't act rashly or else." He scanned his surroundings with an embarrassed expression. In the incomparably huge Yingtian Peak, all the forces in the vast region had arrived. All the disciples and experts of the Solitaire sect were scattered around the surrounding areas. The experts were spying on them. Even the Patriarch of the Solitaire sect and the Patriarch of the Solitaire sect were also watching them. In such a situation, once Wang Xian arrived, there was a slim chance of survival. It could even be said that there was no way for him to survive. Even if it was the Wuji Empire, unless they used all their strength, they would not be able to gain any benefits here. "Let's hope so." The elder from the Wuji Empire nodded slowly. The matter of the Saint Prince of Light being a sky demon had also shocked the entire Wuji Empire. If it wasn't for the fact that he and the solipsistic sect had caused such a huge ruckus, they would have wanted to befriend him. However, there was nothing they could do about it. "Little Yuan, do you think young Master Wang will come today?" At the He clan's seat, He Suiqing frowned as he looked around and asked He Yuan. "I think so." He Yuan smiled bitterly. Based on his understanding of Wang Xian, this brother of his would definitely come today. "This if he comes here then." He Suiqing pursed his lips and scanned his surroundings. He Yuan didn't say anything. He sighed silently. He hoped that Wang Xian wouldn't come. It wasn't just the Wuji Empire and the He clan. Everything that happened today wasn't about the wedding between the young master of Aotian and Ling Jian'er. Instead, it was about the announcement of the sect and whether or not the Sky Demon would come. With the Sky Demon's strength, if he came today, he would be instantly killed. If he came, he would never come back. The sect did not take the Sky Demon's threat seriously at all. Instead, they held the wedding here and insulted the Sky Demon. It was as if they were saying, "Look, we want your woman. She's a peerless beauty with monstrous demonic chi. How could we offend our sect? Unless the Sky Demon doesn't come out this time and hides for hundreds or even thousands of years, waiting for an opportunity to take revenge." The surrounding forces were discussing in low voices. "The two from the Bingxin dynasty come here. We have something to ask you." At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in the huge square. The voice did not have the slightest scruple and carried a trace of dominance. All the factions of Yingtian Peak were slightly stunned. They hurriedly looked towards the source of the voice. Even all the experts from the unique sect narrowed their eyes slightly and looked over coldly. However, when they saw the person who spoke, everyone was slightly startled. "Hiss, why is this person here? Why is this person from the Southern Royal Family here?" The eyes of all the factions narrowed slightly, and a trace of solemnity appeared on their faces. Bing Fa Wu and Bing Jinghuan, who were following beside young Master Aotian, were slightly shocked and quickly walked over. Even young Master Aotian followed by the side in surprise and immediately walked over. There was an old man with long black hair that reached his waist. His hair was neat, and there was a trace of brutality in his frown. The top powerhouse of the Southern Royal Family, Nangong Jianghe. Chapter 1598. 1598 Domineering and Crazy 2. Senior. Aotian and Bing Fa Wu walked over and immediately cupped their hands respectfully towards the long-haired old man. Let me ask you something. 7 days ago, a dozen young disciples of our southern royal family passed by your icy heart imperial city. Do you know about this? Nangong Jianghe saw their respectful expressions, and his expression didn't change at all. He directly asked Bing Fa Wu. 7 days ago, Bing Fa Wu was slightly taken aback. Reporting to Senior, if the southern royal family's disciples come, our Bingxin imperial city will definitely welcome them warmly. 7 days ago, our Bingxin imperial dynasty was met with an extermination disaster. As he spoke, his expression was extremely unsightly. 7 days ago, more than 10 core disciples of our southern royal family went missing at your place. We haven't heard from them since. Nangong Jianghe said coldly with a gloomy face. These core disciples had his favorite great-grandson. He didn't expect them to go missing right now. In this vast area, who would dare to kill his beloved grandson? Even the experts of the only sect didn't dare to do so. Brother Jianghe, since you're here, come and have a seat. At this moment, the Supreme Sect Master's voice came from the distant mountain peak. Okay. Nangong Jianghe looked up and hesitated for a moment before nodding his head. His figure moved and disappeared in an instant. I didn't expect the patriarch of the southern royal family to come today. Wu Qingqing frowned slightly when he saw the disappearing figure. Our patriarch Dark Eye has already broken through several layers of the Black Water God Lake's restrictions. The reason why Patriarch Southern Emperor came this time should be to discuss the issue of alliance with the only sect. The old man behind Wu Qingqing said with a smile. Dark Eye Patriarch is about to break through the restrictions? It seems that the lone sect and the Southern Emperor family are getting anxious. Wu Qingqing was slightly stunned before an excited expression appeared on his face. A divine tree suddenly appeared in the Black Water God Lake. According to the 3 superpowers guesses, this divine tree had powerful functions. The 3 superpowers competed with each other and restrained each other. Seeing that the Wuji Empire was about to break the restriction, they naturally had to join forces to fight against them. This wasn't something rare. In fact, the 3 superpowers often worked together to compete against each other. Sometimes, the Wuji Empire would join forces with the Solitaire sect to deal with the Southern Royal family. Other times, the other party would join forces to deal with them. Brother Jianghe, I didn't expect you to come so early. On the Unitary Peak, the Unitary Sect Master sat on a green chair and signaled to Nangong Jianghe. More than 10 disciples of the Southern Royal family disappeared in the Bingxin Imperial City. We came here to ask the people of the Bingxin Empire in advance. Nangong Jianghe said with a bad expression. They disappeared in the Bingxin Empire 7 days ago. It must be the work of the Sky Demon. The Supreme Hierarch said calmly. The Sky Demon is coming to our sect. We will kill him and give you an explanation. All right then. Let's talk about the divine tree in the Black Water Divine Lake. Nangong Jianghe nodded. The disciples of the Southern Royal family should have been killed by the Sky Demon. However, the death of the Sky Demon basically put an end to this matter. Even if he felt sorry for his great-grandson, he could only do so much. All right, for the Black Water Divine Lake, if we work together, the Tree of God has a 90% chance of obtaining it. However, for all the gains, we the Supreme Sect want 70%. Oh, the Supreme Sect leader is so confident? However, this 70% is a little too high. Hee, it is a little too high, but for that 20%, our Supreme Sect will have to pay a huge price. The Supreme Headmaster said to Nangong Jianghe. I don't understand why the Supreme Headmaster is so confident. Nangong Jianghe sipped his tea and asked. The Mistress of the Desolate Sea wants a treasure from our sect. She wants to use that treasure to lure her out. The Southern Royal family will pay the 20% price. The Supreme Headmaster said with a smile on his face. The Mistress of the Barren Sea. Nangong Jianghe narrowed his eyes. I didn't expect you to invite her. Where is the mistress? Hee, I invited her today. She will give face to our sect. She should be here soon. The Supreme Headmaster said confidently. Okay, I want to see the Desolate Goddess. Nangong Jianghe nodded solemnly. The Desolate Sea Lord, the Desolate Goddess, had single-handedly destroyed a first-rate force overnight. Compared to the Sky Demon's strength, the Desolate Goddess was truly terrifying. This was because even they had to be extremely wary of the Desolate Goddess. In fact, they definitely couldn't become enemies with her, because her methods were too strange. The two leaders of the superpowers were chatting. Adding Tian Peak's location, all the powers in the vast region had gathered. All the powers were clearly seated in different places. Every single one of them was an existence that could shake the entire region for tens of thousands of kilometers. Chirp, 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 chirp. The auspicious time has arrived. At noon, the chirping of birds could be heard from the sky. It's the Chaotian Sparrow. The Chaotian Sparrow Demonic Beast Clan. A rank 7 Profound Void Demonic Beast Clan. Everyone's powers immediately looked towards the sky. Numerous green Chaotian sparrows were circling in the sky. Flower petals directly fell from the sky. The largest Chaotian sparrow in the lead let out a human's voice. Under the control of Chaotian Sparrow, the flower petals kept floating in the sky, making the entire Tian Peak extremely beautiful. A 7th level Profound Void Martial Stage Chaotian Sparrow flying in the sky. This is simply too beautiful. To be able to marry the young lord of Aotian is simply a great fortune. Unfortunately, Bing Jian actually fell in love with the Sky Devil. Perhaps Bing Jian has already gone back on her words, and is prepared to spend the rest of her life with the young lord of Aotian. After all, if she marries the young lord of Aotian, she might be able to become the Supreme Headmaster's wife in the future. The birds flew in the sky, and the young men and women from all the factions raised their heads in shock. Using a 7th level Void Interpretation Demonic Beast to dress up a wedding was something that only the 3 super factions could do. This could be said to be something that made all the women present extremely envious. They wished that they were the ones who would marry young Master Aotian. Let's welcome the bride and groom. A woman's voice sounded from a stone platform in front of Tian Peak. There were flower petals placed on it. Spiritual pearls were placed on both sides, rows upon rows of extremely luxurious pearls. They were all connected to the cave dwelling where the bride of Tian Peak was. When the woman's voice fell, Ling Jian who was wearing a red veil, and the arrogant young Master Aotian walked out. The two of them walked all the way to the stone platform. Young Master Aotian swept his gaze over everyone around him, his cold and arrogant face filled with a smile. All the forces around him were gathered on young Master Aotian and Ling Jian. Please welcome the groom's relatives. Please welcome the bride's relatives. The woman stood at the front, her face full of smiles as she continued to shout. At the back, Bing Fei slowly walked over, his face squeezing out traces of a smile. With the destruction of the Ice Heart dynasty, it was already very difficult for him to be able to smile. Hee, my son getting married is the happiest time for me as his mother. A graceful and elegant lady walked over slowly. Mother. Aotian turned around and shouted with a smile on his face. Haha, Tian is getting married. As her father, I naturally have to attend personally. At this moment, a voice came from the sky and 2 figures flew over instantly. One figure landed at the front of the southern royal family and sat down. The other figure landed beside Aotian with a smile on his face. Father. Aotian immediately bowed. Supreme Headmaster. Around him, tens of thousands of elite disciples and powerhouses of Supreme Headmaster quickly bowed to show their respect. All the forces around were filled with respect. Haha, welcome to my son's wedding. Is everyone here? The Supreme Sect leader stood on the stage and smiled as he scanned the surrounding people. When everyone saw this scene, their hearts trembled. It was about to begin. Supreme Sect leader, all the factions have arrived, but the Desolate Goddess has yet to arrive. Other than that, there is still one person who has yet to arrive. I wonder if he will still come. An old man cupped his hands and reported from below. Chapter 1599. 1599 Domineering and Crazy 3. The goddess of desolation will come. As for whether the others will come, we don't know. The supreme headmaster heard the report and said with a smile, "What? Father, the goddess of desolation will come?" As soon as the supreme headmaster finished his words, Aotian, who was beside him, showed a surprised expression and asked immediately, "The desolation goddess will come?" The supreme headmaster actually invited the desolation goddess. Oh my God, the mysterious desolation sea goddess, she actually came today. This is an extremely terrifying existence. Although the desolation goddess only attacked once, she instantly destroyed the first-rate power, the Nanshan family. She is much more terrifying than the sky demon. The sky fiend and the goddess of desolation are simply not on the same level. The goddess of desolation is an existence that even the three super factions fear. When the surrounding factions heard the supreme headmaster's words, they revealed shocked expressions. Compared to the high-profile sky fiend, the goddess of desolation was very low-key. She had only attacked once. However, that one time had made all the forces in the vast region see how terrifying that person was. Even the three super forces had acknowledged that person as the mistress of the Sea of Desolation. Her terrifying behemoth and strange abilities had shocked all the forces, including the three super forces. The goddess of desolation has actually come to the only sect. Everyone in Wuxia Empire had solemn expressions on their faces. Nangong Jianghe's arrival, and the arrival of the goddess of desolation, could it be a signal? Was our sect closer to the goddess of desolation? The supreme headmaster nodded his head lightly and looked around. As for whether there is anyone else, that is no longer important. Today is the day of my son's wedding. But before that, our sect would like to announce something. The supreme sect leader's body slowly emitted a supreme aura. The aura directly charged towards everyone in front of him. The hearts of all the factions in the vast region slightly trembled as they watched in awe. Ever since my only sect was established, all the enemies who dared to provoke my only sect have now turned to dust. A cold voice sounded in everyone's ears. Everyone knew that our cult had started to take action against the sky demon. If they didn't take action, it would be fine. But if they did, it would probably be a massacre. The last time a faction provoked our cult was more than 10,000 years ago. At that time, more than 5 million people from that faction were all killed. Even those who were related to that faction were all killed. Those who offend the supreme sect will be executed. The supreme sect leader's voice thundered in everyone's ears. This shocked everyone. What is the supreme sect trying to do? An elder from the He clan frowned. He suddenly had a bad premonition. Our ancestors are weak. The supreme sect cannot be weak. Even if it is heaven or earth, we must kill the sky devil. The supreme headmaster stood there, his body slowly emitting traces of killing intent. Today is my son's wedding day. Red represents celebration, but... Sorry I'm late. Just as the supreme headmaster continued to speak, an indifferent voice came from afar. The supreme headmaster focused his gaze and looked forward. Everyone around him was also slightly shocked. They immediately turned their heads. He's here. The sky demon is really here. He actually dared to come here. Hiss, as expected of the sky demon. However, he is simply sending himself to his death by coming here. When the people from all the factions saw Wang Xian and Mo Sha walking over in the air, a hint of shock appeared on their faces. 1 step, 2 steps, and 3 steps later, Wang Xian had already arrived at the spot in front of Yingtian Peak. His gaze landed on Ling Jianer. He heaved a sigh of relief when he felt that Ling Jianer was not injured at all. Jianer, I'm here to bring you back. Wang Xian said softly. Shut up. A person who is about to die actually dares to address my Aotion's wife by her name. Aotion's lips curled up slightly when he saw Wang Xian's arrival as he shouted coldly. Supreme Headmaster, kill him, kill him. Beside him, Bing Feiwu stared at Wang Xian with a heavy breathing and growled in a low voice. Haha, since you are a guest, let this sky demon enjoy the last scene of his life. The supreme headmaster smiled and said loudly. Continue then. Wang Xian stood in the air and stared at the Supreme Headmaster indifferently. As expected of the Sky Demon, even when he met the Supreme Headmaster, he still has this kind of spirit. What kind of spirit? He's just a boorish man, a person who is about to die. The people around saw Wang Xian and discussed in a low voice. Everyone from the He clan and the Wuji Empire frowned. Putting everything aside, just this kind of spirit was enough to make them submit. Hehe, red represents celebration. However, there are still many heroic souls in our sect that have yet to be sacrificed. The heroic souls have to be sacrificed with fresh blood. Coincidentally, the fresh blood is also red, so with the blood of the Sky Demon and the blood of all the relatives and friends of the Sky Demon, let us offer our congratulations. A blood-colored wedding sounded a little scary. However, this was not the tyranny of our sect. Everything was caused by Ling Jian-er and the Sky Demon. Even though Ling Jian-er had married into our sect, they still had to offer sacrifices to the souls that had died because of her. Aotian did not have any objections to this blood-colored wedding. On the contrary, he was looking forward to it. The only sect was the only sect. As the supreme sect leader spoke, his gaze finally landed on Wang Xian. He didn't put him in his eyes at all. Who does the supreme sect leader want to kill? Family and friends. Everyone around was slightly shocked. Astonishment appeared on their faces. As for the position of the He clan, when the He clan members heard these words, their expressions changed instantly. I will rush over to your Luhai region and all your family and friends after today. But now, Buzz. The Supreme Headmaster waved his arm, and an image appeared in the sky. No, don't kill me, don't kill me. Please don't kill me. We have nothing to do with Priest Wang. We are merely being treated by him. Terrified voices were suddenly heard. At this moment, the expressions of all the forces changed drastically. Even Wang Xian, who had long been calm and composed, trembled. His eyes were fixed on the scene in the image. Nearly 100,000 people are indebted to you. Die. The Supreme Headmaster pointed his finger in the air. In the screen, gusts of wind blades slashed towards the 100,000 people. Ah! The screams were clearly heard by everyone. It was so terrifying that it made one's hair stand on end. Wang Xian's body trembled a little as he slowly closed his eyes. He slowly raised his head and placed the violent blood pill into his mouth. I didn't kill Bo Run and Bo Run, but I'm the one who died. There's no need to retreat. Haha, die. Kill millions of my ice race members. Everyone who is related to the Sky Demon must die. Below, Bing Jinghuan was roaring ferociously when he saw this scene. His face was filled with excitement and ferocity. Everyone in the surroundings was shocked. Overbearing and crazy. This was the solipsistic sect. This is only the beginning. He Yuan from the He clan came out to commit suicide. Chapter 1600. 1600 Tyrannies and Madness 4. This is only the beginning. He Yuan from the He clan came out to commit suicide. The scene in the sky showed that nearly 100,000 people who had been treated by Wang Xian were all killed. However, this was only the beginning for the solipsistic sect. When the Supreme Chief said this sentence, everyone was shocked. He Yuan of the He clan had come out to commit suicide. He clan. This was the top He clan among the first-rate forces. He Yuan was the most outstanding disciple of the entire He clan. He was even groomed to be the successor of the next clan leader. Even so, the Supreme Chief announced that He Yuan of the He clan had come out to commit suicide. How overbearing was this? What? You want to kill He Yuan? The Supreme Headmaster's words caused the expressions of everyone from Wang Xian's He clan to change drastically. Even He Yuan's face turned pale instantly, and cold sweat appeared on his forehead. The He clan was indeed powerful. Even the three superpowers had to be wary of the He clan. However, if the Supreme Headmaster wanted to kill He Yuan, would the He clan dare to disobey? Even if the He clan could withstand the onslaught of the Supreme Headmaster, there was a condition. That was, they could hide in the holy tree and not come out. However, could they hide forever? This supreme headmaster is so overbearing. He Yuan of the He clan. He killed nearly 100,000 people saved by the Sky Demon. And now he wants to kill the Sky Demon's friend He Yuan. This is too overbearing. Everyone's faces were filled with shock, and their gazes were all focused on the He clan. Little Yuan. He Sui Qing, who was holding onto He Yuan's arm, had an incomparably pale face. Her body was slightly trembling as she looked at him. If I remember correctly, more than 10,000 years ago, a powerful force provoked the lone sect. At that time, that force had several million people killed. Other than the direct members of this force, there were also several million people who were implicated. A total of 7 to 8 million people died at the hands of the lone sect. It was also from that time that the Supreme Sect became known as the Supreme Sect in heaven and earth. It was overbearing and powerful, and it was deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. The elder of Wuxia Empire frowned and said slowly, the Supreme Sect leader had made the most core disciple of a top-tier force commit suicide. Even they were a little surprised. Powerful, it was simply too powerful. All the forces looked at the He clan with some sympathy. Lord Supreme Sect leader, this matter has nothing to do with our He Yuan. Why? Can Supreme Sect leader give our Yuaner a way out? The He clan elder's expression changed drastically as he begged the Supreme Sect leader for mercy. Do you want our only sect to help? The Supreme Sect leader swept a cold glance over. Everyone from the He clan trembled. He Yuan stood there and slowly closed his eyes. To dare to kill a disciple of our sect, this is only the beginning. After today, I will personally head to the Luhai region. Do you feel some regret? The Supreme Headmaster looked at Wang Xian indifferently and said expressionlessly, He Jianer, I will lift your head. Look, this is the outcome of going against our sect. Ao Tian took off Ling Jian Yar's head with a smile and said with a smile. Ling Jian looked at Wang Xian who was in front of her. Tears were glistening in her eyes. Then let our sect grant you death. The Supreme Headmaster ordered indifferently when he saw the humiliation on the faces of the He clansmen. It's the Supreme Headmaster. A middle-aged man immediately cupped his hands and replied, Those who offend our sect will be executed by 9 clans. The middle-aged man shouted, and arrogantly looked down on the He clan's people as he slowly walked over. His speed was not very fast, but every step he took gave the He clan's people a huge pressure. The He clan's experts clenched their fists, their eyes filled with anger. Sai, the leader of the He clan's leader, powerlessly closed his eyes and waved his hand behind him. They couldn't fight back. They didn't have the right to fight back. Once they made a move, all of them would die. In the future, the He clan could only hide in the position of the holy tree. Powerless, as expected of the solipsistic sect. They are very overbearing and crazy. Wang Xian opened his eyes slowly. He could feel the fresh blood in his body burning and boiling. The medicinal effect was slowly starting to take effect. Once he consumed the violent blood pill, even if he didn't make a move, more than half of his flesh and blood would disappear over time. Once he made a move, he would almost certainly die. In heaven and earth, only I am the supreme. Ao Tian stared at Wang Xian with a wild expression and said coldly, In heaven and earth, only I am the supreme. All the disciples of the solitaire sect in the surroundings shouted with excitement. This was the strength and tyranny of their sect. They dared to kill our brothers and sisters and exterminate their entire clan. So what if they were from the He clan? So what if they were sky devils? They were just lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Die, stupid thing. At this time, the middle-aged man of the solitaire sect, who was walking towards the He clan, waved out a wind blade arrogantly. A simple wind blade was not very strong, but it was enough to kill a 3rd or 4th level void interpretation expert. He knew that even if it was a simple attack, the 8th level insightful void martial artist beside He Yuan would not dare to stop it. Young Master Wang. When He Suiqing saw this scene, he shouted at Wang Xian in a daze. Buzz. At this moment Wang Xian moved. With a flash, he appeared in front of the wind blade. When the wind blade landed in front of him, It dissipated immediately. Explode! He shouted softly. The middle-aged man's body exploded instantly. Fresh blood splattered in a 20-meter radius. Deacon Liu! What a fast speed! It's said that the Sky Demon once single-handedly blocked 3 level 8 see-through void martial artists. What terrifying strength! He killed a deacon of the Solitaire sect, right in front of the Supreme Headmaster. When the body of the middle-aged man from the lone sect exploded, everyone had shocked expressions on their faces. The Supreme Leader was also slightly stunned. A hint of embarrassment flashed across his eyes. He had underestimated the strength of the Sky Demon. I'm sorry, Brother He Yuan. I've implicated you. Wang Xian stood in front of He Yuan and turned his head to speak plainly to him. We're all brothers. He Yuan forced a bitter smile at Wang Xian, but he replied in a carefree manner. You are very good. The Supreme Headmaster pointed his finger in the air. Streams of terrifying wind attribute gathered instantly. Crack, crack, crack. A wind prison directly trapped Wang Xian. Wang Xian looked at it indifferently and didn't move. However, the hostility in his eyes grew stronger and stronger. Hiss, the Supreme Headmaster has made his move. He pointed his finger at the void and trapped the Sky Devil. The Sky Devil didn't even have time to react. No matter what, the Sky Devil will die in the place of the Supreme Headmaster. Everyone was shocked when they saw the Supreme Headmaster making his move. Very good, kill that woman as well. The Supreme Headmaster spoke again, and glanced at He Suiqing who was beside He Yuan. Whoever was related to the Sky Demon would die. What? The miss of the He Suizu clan was also sentenced to death. This is simply the death of whoever opens his mouth. The Supreme Headmaster is too overbearing. All the forces were shocked again, and the faces of all the He Suizu clan members turned ugly. But there was still no way. In this sky and this land, only the Supreme Headmaster of the He Suizu clan was supreme. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.